Traffic and weather station.
Good morning. KSL News Time is 5 o'clock. This is Utah's Morning News. I'm Tim Hughes.
And I'm Amanda Dixon. KSL's top story this hour.
Today is the last day ballots can be sent back through the mail.
Ballots need to be postmarked before the end of the day, and that means just dropping it in a mailbox may not be the best idea. KSL News Radio's Adam Small begins our live team coverage, Your Voice, Your Vote 2024, with a rundown of how to make sure your vote is counted. Adam?
Amanda, we're now at the point where if you want to send your ballot back through the Postal Service, dropping it in a mailbox isn't your best option since there's no guarantee it'll be postmarked before the end of the day today. Now, County Clerk told me in a previous conversation, if you're dead set on sending it back through the mail, physically take your ballot inside a post office today and even ask a worker there to stamp it there for you right then and there to make sure your vote is counted. But remember, if you choose to instead leave your ballot in a drop box, you have until 8 o'clock tomorrow night. Just make sure you've signed it and that it has your contact information. Live Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
If you haven't already registered for the election, you can still register on Election Day. KSL News Radio's Michael Commit is live with how? Michael?
Tim, Utah is one of the states that still allows same-day registration and voting. So in case you missed the deadline to register a few weeks back, you can still do so today and even tomorrow in person at locations like your county clerk's office. Keep in mind, though, you'll need at least 2 forms of government-issued ID. These can be your driver's license, passport, a state ID, or a tribal or military ID card. Or you can also use non-photo IDs like a birth certificate, a social security card, state hunting or fishing license, or even a utility bill dated from the past 3 months. Reporting live, Michael Commit, KSL News Radio.
KSL's top national stories this hour. The presidential candidates are holding a blitz of rallies in battleground states. Former President Trump spoke to crowds in Georgia over the weekend.
We stand on the verge of the 4 greatest years in American history. You watch. It's going to be so good. It's going to be so much fun. It'll be nasty a little bit at times, and maybe at the beginning in particular, but it's going to be something.
Here is Vice President Harris speaking to a crowd in Michigan.
We have momentum. It is on our side. Can you feel it?
ABC reports around 77 million Americans have voted early.
Be sure to stay with KSL News Radio throughout the election to get the latest breaking news, both online and at kslnewsradio.com. We will have special election night coverage starting at 7 tomorrow night, and we will have special coverage Wednesday morning with the latest results.
Iran is ramping up its threats against Israel this morning.
The Supreme Leader now promising a teeth-breaking response to Israel and the United States after Israel targeted military sites in Iran late last month. And in another reminder of really how widespread this conflict is becoming, Israel, for the first time since the start of the war, announcing they carried out a ground raid into Syria in recent months, seizing a Syrian citizen involved in Iranian networks.
ABC's Britt Clennett reporting from the Middle East.
The body of a missing 19-year-old woman was found near Farmington Canyon over the weekend. Police and volunteers search for Mia Casto after she was last seen Friday leaving Brad McDonald's home. He tells KSL TV he didn't know who Casto was when she showed up at their house.
We sort of realized that this stranger had just walked into our house. So we talked to her for a minute and asked her what she was doing and who she was here to see. And you could tell she was very confused. She didn't really know what was going on.
McDonald says he called police after Casto left his home and walked into the woods. Searchers found her body yesterday afternoon.
Turkeys and pigs are the next livestock to watch after avian flu turned up in northern Utah's chickens and dairy cows. KSL News Radio's Tammy Kikuchi reports.
Avian flu is very contagious and can be very deadly for turkeys. State veterinarian Dan Christensen says the virus is spread by wild migratory waterfowl, but the flyover season may be done, making it more safe for turkeys in central Utah. But avian flu is emerging in pigs in Oregon. Dr. Christensen says it's being watched closely.
We haven't changed our stance with our swine industry yet in Utah because it is so new and emerging right now.
Dr. Christensen says they're waiting to get better information before making any recommendations to the pig farms in Utah. Tammy Kikuchi, KSL News Radio.
First look traffic this morning. Good morning, Andy Farnsworth.
Good morning, Tim. We start off with a couple of issues. We got one, a crash in Weber Canyon, actually closer to Mountain Green, that's affecting eastbound traffic heading towards Morgan, but that looks like minor delays. And then a crash just off the freeway on in Marriott Slaterville.
And it looks like it's affecting both directions near the freeway, but not I-15 itself. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
A teen in Park City is raising money to help his friend and communities hit hard by flooding in Spain. KSL TV's Brianna Chavez met with Jansen Jacobson, who became close friends with a Spanish exchange student from a town destroyed by the floods.
Despite being thousands of miles away,
if it were up to me, I would be out there in the city helping them.
Jansen decided to start a fundraiser to help his friend and the town he's grown to love.
Anything that you saw and were there and loved, just gone.
Pablo says he's grateful for his friend's support.
I'm just thankful. I don't have words for this friend and this community of Park City and Utah.
You can learn more about the fundraiser on KSL TV's website.
A titan of the music industry has passed away. Quincy Jones died at age 91, surrounded by his family in his Bel Air home.
Quincy Jones will be remembered as a legendary music producer, record company executive, and humanitarian. Jones produced the soundtrack to Jackson's blockbuster Thriller album, which sold more than 100 million records worldwide. He also became the most Grammy-nominated artist ever, with 79 nods and 27 wins. Quincy Jones was considered to be one of the greatest minds in music and television history. Ike Ajachi, ABC News, Washington, D.C.
Did he just say he had 27 Grammys?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Crazy, isn't it?
An anti-hero remained at the top of the box office this weekend.
Venom: The Last Dance repeated in the #1 spot, easing about 50% with $26 million. That's not a terrible hold, but the threequel is nowhere near its predecessors.
How fast do you think you can get that thing to go without killing it?
Only one way to find out. Fortunately for Sony, the film is playing well internationally, sailing past $300 million worldwide.
You can call me Roz.
The beloved family flick The Wild Robot was goosed back into second place, gaining in box office from last week with $7.5 million.
Something really crazy is happening to me. I keep seeing his face everywhere.
In third place was Smile 2 with $6.8 million. The weekend after Halloween helped this one stay in the top 3. I'm Kevin Carr.
Coming up in just a minute, we'll get the latest on what looks like already a problem out there. I-15 around Pioneer Road, it looks like. Marriott Slaterville, we've got an accident already this morning. We'll check it. And the rest of the valley coming up next.
Reliability, steadiness, trusted voices.
I'll listen to KSL in the morning. I use it to find my weather, to find my traffic. When you ask me what news is, I think of KSL first.
We have you covered at KSL News Radio.
How does a soccer club born in an unlikely place,
Utah? You sure you want to do that in Utah?
Built with players no one else wanted,
We knew no one believed in us.
reach the league's highest heights?
We finally did it. It was like just this feeling of getting to the top of the mountain.
How does that same team find a way to shatter expectations in the midst of a fight for its own survival?
Our club is burning to the ground as we speak.
I'm Amy Donaldson, and in a new podcast, Making of a Moment, the RSL story, we take a closer look at one of those iconic sports moments.
Soccer is a crazy game, and we saw it firsthand tonight.
And unravel how knowing the truth of these moments can transform what they mean.
I just kind of got chills right now thinking about it.
Making of a Moment, the RSL story, is available now. Follow us at makingamomentpod.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
Lots of great Your Voice, Your Vote coverage going on today. Of course, tomorrow's election day. Finally here.
Right.
And today is the last day you can get your ballots into the mail. They need to be postmarked today. We'll have more information with team coverage for you throughout the morning. It's 5:09. Time for a look at traffic and weather together. Brought to you by Sinclair's Dino Pay app. Save up to 20 cents a gallon. Already some flashing lights out there, Andy.
Yeah, this is on 2000 West, just off I-15 in Marriott Slaterville. That's a little bit west of Ogden, so it's on the west side of the freeway north of Ogden City. It's only been impacting that road. It does look like they're letting some traffic by, but it also looks like, I can't tell which direction, I think southbound, that they may be diverting off of 2000 West. The other crash we've got's on eastbound I-84 near Mountain Green, causing just a little bit of slowing as you head in the direction of Peterson and Morgan. Eric?
Looking pretty good right now for northbound on I-15 from Provo through Utah County and then all the way through Salt Lake County to downtown. And we don't have too many wet spots out there, just some damp road conditions out on SR 36 here and there as you head north from Tooele up through Stansbury and eventually onto I-80 at Lake Point. I'm Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
Mostly sunny today with a high of 47 degrees. Overnight, 35 with increasing clouds. Tomorrow, shallow cold front, 45 the high, and a chance for some rain-snow showers. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
It's cold out there this morning, right on the freezing mark downtown, 32 degrees.
I did not know this until I came in this morning, that there were some fierce tornadoes in the Great Plains region. That was just yesterday, I guess.
Oklahoma City.
Oklahoma City and where else was it, I guess? That's the main area. We're going to talk to Jim Ryan coming up in a moment on KSL.
Stay with us, streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio. Thanks for starting your morning with us. Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
I'm Brian Tedesco, CEO of Blaupunkt Americas, the pioneers of the car stereo. Today, we're not just about sound systems. We are revolutionizing the e-bike scene with Blue Dot Bike. Thanks to AmericanEagle.com, our online presence now features a dynamic e-commerce website that showcases the quality and affordability of our foldable e-bikes. And our collegiate e-bikes, just perfect for the college fanatic. These e-bikes offer a new way to experience freedom on two wheels, no matter your age. When we needed a top-notch website to match our cutting-edge e-bikes, we turned to AmericanEagle.com. They made the impossible seem easy, tackling digital challenges like pros. Check out the Blue Dot Bike website to see AmericanEagle.com's amazing work in action. Need the best in website and digital marketing solutions? AmericanEagle.com is your go-to. They've been a game changer for us, and they can be for you too. Visit AmericanEagle.com or call 877-WEB-NOW-1. That's 877-WEB-NOW-1.
Hi, it's Tori DeVito. In every family, small conversations can make a big impact. I grew up on tour with my parents. Kind of different, but we bonded over music just like other families do over sports, camping, or other interests. And we talked. Little everyday conversations from silly to serious that built a foundation over time. Honest conversations. Like when my dad shared his experiences as an alcoholic.
Your honesty about that part of your life gave me a sense of integrity that I wanted to uphold in my own life. And I was so grateful that you and Mom had become these sober, stable people who were always there for me.
I wanted you to know from someone who's been in recovery more than 30 years now that hard work is what creates success, not alcohol or other drugs, whether it's music or anything else. I said it a lot, and I'm glad you took it to heart.
Talk, they hear you. For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Dave and Debbie.
It's impossible to digest and consume all of the news that's now coming at us through either social media or through web pages or through the radio. Pick what is most impactful in your life and focus on that. And that's what Dave and I do every single morning. We pick those issues that are most important to our listeners and we boil it down so it's digestible. It's simple to understand.
I think we're trying to find the essence of the story. You know, you can't be an expert on all things, but that doesn't mean you can't be curious and really find out more and educate yourself and learn the complexities of an issue. But I think all of us start at ground zero on everything. Ask questions, show that curiosity.
And then if you need more research, you can always go to KSLNewsRadio.com and learn more.
Listen for Dave and Dejanovic 9 to noon on KSL News Radio.
Good morning, KSL News Time, 5:15. The three things you need to know this hour. First,
you can still register to vote in person before the election, but you'll need 2 forms of identification to do so. I'm KSL News Radio's Michael Commit.
Second, the body of a missing 19-year-old woman was found near Farmington Canyon over the weekend.
Third, it's traffic and weather together.
I-15 all clear so far as we start off this early Monday morning, but there's a crash eastbound 84 in Weber Canyon near Mountain Green that's slowing traffic just a little bit. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
Mostly sunny skies today, but cold with highs in the 40s. I'm Matt Johnson.
It's 32 degrees at the KSL Commons Spirit Health Studios.
And time for a look at our top national stories.
From ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. A presidential race that is coming down to the wire and will once again be determined by just a handful of swing states. ABC's Christiane Cordero has more on where things stand.
A new poll from the battleground states shows Harris with marginal leads in Nevada, North Carolina, and Wisconsin. Trump with a slight lead in Arizona, and even closer races in Georgia, Michigan.
My father-in-law is a lifelong Republican. You'll talk about Ronald Reagan all day. He is voting for Kamala Harris.
And Pennsylvania. In all 7 states, the races are within the poll's margin of error. Christiane Cordero, ABC News, Washington.
One poll that took everyone by surprise, a highly respected Des Moines Register survey, shows Kamala Harris ahead in Iowa by 3 percentage points. Here's ABC political director Rick Klein.
There aren't many people that actually think that Harris wins Iowa. That's a world where she romps, and it's probably something of a blowout. But if it's even close there, it speaks to the same kind of problems and problem areas for Trump that might be an issue in Wisconsin and Michigan, which are very near Iowa. The softness that Trump has among female voters, older female voters in particular, very real.
A 6-week abortion ban took place in Iowa just a few months ago. 78 million Americans have already cast their ballots. Legendary music producer Quincy Jones has died at the age of 91. His advice to future musicians when accepting the ASCAP Founders Award in 2012.
Don't stop till you get enough, man. And I'm telling you, when it rains, get wet. When it rains, get wet. Work hard, work your butt off, and party hard. That's all I can say. And live your life.
Lionel Hampton, Sarah Vaughan, Ray Charles, Frank Sinatra, Michael Jackson, just a few of the musicians Quincy Jones worked with over the years. Machinists at Boeing vote today on whether to accept the company's latest offer or continue their strike, which has dragged on for more than 7 weeks now. You're listening to ABC News.
All right, let's go in depth here. At least half a dozen people are injured and multiple homes destroyed after tornadoes ripped through Oklahoma.
ABC News correspondent Jim Ryan joins us live. Where did this happen, Jim?
Well, there were several tornadoes, actually, man. We were talked about some in suburban Oklahoma City. That was an EF3. That's near the top of the chart in terms of the strength. Another EF3 elsewhere in Oklahoma. Altogether, there were at least 6 tornadoes. 11 people now were hurt badly enough to go to the hospital, but those injuries are thought to be non-life-threatening. So that's the good news in all of this. It happened in the middle of the night, 1 o'clock in the morning, Saturday into Sunday. So really the worst time that this can happen, and people were at home, of course. Lots of damage was done, and now the cleanup is underway. And again, 11 injuries, no fatalities.
Is it unusual, Jim, for this to be happening in November?
Well, I mean, it's unusual. It's not unheard of, certainly. I've covered tornadoes in the snow in different parts of the country in December, close to Christmas. So, yeah, unusual, but not certainly not unheard of. But the timing is unusual in a different way because tomorrow is Election Day. And there's a possibility that some polling places might still be without electricity. We've got 12,000 outages around the state right now. The governor of Oklahoma says that if people are voting at one of those places, they'll be directed to go to a different nearby polling place that does have electricity to ensure that the voting is seamless, Tim.
Are they more these tornadoes, are they more dangerous at night because people can't get to shelter in time? They don't react as quickly?
Well, because they don't hear about them. You know, you just have to hope that people had their notifications turned on when they went to bed on Saturday night, that they did have enough warning. But it's just that the visibility, of course, is lower at night. You can't see a tornado coming. You might be asleep and not hear the sirens outside, and again, your phone might be turned off, and you won't get notifications that way. So, really, the worst possible time, not just because it's 1 o'clock in the morning, but also because it was a Saturday and everyone was at home.
Yeah. All right, Jim. Thanks for your coverage on this one, and we'll be watching for some of the video, I'm sure, at First Light this morning. Jim Ryan, of course, joining us on the In-Depth at 15 and 45.
5:19 now. Traffic and weather together brought to you by Sinclair's DinoPay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. And we go back over to you, Andy.
Amanda, we start off in Salt Lake County. I-15 looks great, as does the 21st South Freeway. If you're heading south from Ogden, the road conditions are good. We do have a crash just off the freeway in Marriott-Slaterville, about 2000 west. It'll turn into 1900 west eventually, and it looks like at the moment north and southbound traffic may be being turned around, so nobody getting through the area, but you'll have to go back the way you came. Eric?
We're looking good out into the mountains. If you're heading out through Parley's Canyon this morning, no problems on I-80 going out to Park City. And if you're out in the Wasatch Back US 40, at least at this early juncture, that's looking solid northbound from Heber City up to Park City. And down Utah County, no difficulties on I-15 so far northbound from Santa Quin throughout the county up to Point of the Mountain. Revere Health encourages you to schedule your preventative care and annual checkups to help increase the potential to live your most healthy and active life. Revere Health, your partner in health, your partner in life. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast has plenty of cold weather to go around. 47 today with mostly sunny skies. 45 tomorrow, rain, snow, showers. Drying things out on Wednesday, 43. 44, sunshine on Thursday. Friday, mid-40s, back up to 50s on Saturday, sunshine. Into Sunday we go with highs in the mid-40s, partly cloudy skies. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Yeah, we're waking up on the freezing mark this morning. It's 32 degrees downtown, and the 7-day forecast brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful.
I think a lot of people probably share our feeling in that we're glad the election is here.
Oh, no kidding. Relief.
Relief. It's here. It's happening tomorrow. Of course, we'll begin to cover it as soon as the polls close, which I think the first poll back east closes at 5 o'clock our time tomorrow.
Something like that.
Night, but we will have special coverage, as we mentioned earlier this morning. This is going to be great. Tomorrow night, it starts at 6 o'clock. And it will include Jeff Kaplan, of course, the host of Afternoon News, with Boyd Matheson and Mara Carabello.
Yep.
That's going to be fantastic there.
Mm-hmm.
And then for many people, you might go to bed not knowing. And so when you wake up, if we've learned more overnight, just tune in first thing to Utah's Morning News.
I've been speculating on what our day is going to look like tomorrow night. How late do you stay up?
Yeah.
Knowing that on Wednesday morning, we still might not know.
I don't stay up anymore. If I can go to sleep, I just do.
Yeah.
Because we don't know, and even if we have an inkling or if they've called it, there are always challenges and stuff. So I'm not going to ruin my sleep with that.
Well, a lot of these places I was reading this morning, I think Pennsylvania's among them, Wisconsin too. I think that they don't start counting
right
until Election Day.
And that is, I think Utah is wonderful in that we're allowed to count. We don't post, of course. You don't report them.
Yeah.
But we're allowed to count early votes when they come in.
And we've heard how many million, 70-some million people have already voted, and they won't even start counting until tomorrow.
That just feels like an inefficient rule that they ought to rethink.
Yeah. Anyway, look forward to all the coverage coming up, not just tomorrow, but as long as it takes throughout the week here on KSL. We'll check money news coming up in just a minute.
If you need bold banners to boost your business, but you're on a budget, think Staples. Because now at Staples, you can save up to $50 on your print purchase. From posters and flyers to signs and menus, Staples can print anything you need to move your business forward. And with Staples Print Perfect Guarantee, it's done right or it's printed again free. Plus, same-day service is available on hundreds of items if you order by noon. Get it printed right at Staples. And now get up to $50 off your print purchase. And 7/6, visit staples.com/print for details.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
Email from school about the incident today.
Scary.
Tell me about it. Did you have any idea that was going on?
None. I mean, you saw Derek at the game last night too. Did you have a clue?
No, but teachers like me, parents, we don't always know as much as you guys do. Kids hear first about what's going on with other kids.
Half the time, it's rumors.
It can be hard to tell sometimes, but if you're ever concerned about a friend who's having trouble with alcohol, prescription drugs, bullying, violence, anything, you need to tell an adult. Mom or me, a teacher, coach, school counselor, someone you know and trust.
Dad, no kid is gonna tell an adult about that kind of stuff.
I get it, but if we don't know, we can't help. Speaking up about a problem, that's what helping a friend is all about.
For more information, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Jeff Kaplan. I'm energized by breaking news. First of all, because it's right now, and second of all, because in many cases the audience needs to know. There's no more important service that we can provide, and I find it critically important to get more details to the audience as quickly as possible. There's nothing more energizing than that for me. Not at all. The most important thing we do is breaking news. I am gratified that so many people listen to me every afternoon on KSL, but what they don't know is that there are so many people behind the scenes making it happen, checking on the traffic, answering the phones, making the calls, talking to the newsmakers. They're out in the street, into the field to get the raw information, and then putting it all together so that I can sit in front of a microphone and be a source of information every afternoon. But there are so many people who make it happen. That's what you don't know.
Ride Home with Jeff Kaplan, weekdays 3 to 7 on KSL News Radio.
We are watching Utah's Money, brought to you by Trajan Wealth, your trusted local fiduciary advisors, TrajanWealth.com. Alcohol sales are dropping in America for the first time in years. Drink analysis firm IWSR found that overall sales fell 3% in the first 7 months of the year. The decline comes after a huge boost brought by the pandemic.
Look at this. Intel's getting kicked out of the Dow. The company is losing its spot to NVIDIA.
Oh, wow.
The struggling chip maker was on the first two technology firms to be included in the index. Intel shares have dropped 54% this year.
The buy now, pay later market is expanding. Affirm is launching in the UK, its first market outside of North America. UK lawmakers are not happy about it, saying it encourages impulse buying and normalizes debt.
Affirm is actually how we buy our ski passes every year.
Oh, yeah, so you can buy it, pay a little at a time.
Yeah, we get them in the spring and then just make a monthly payment all the way until the beginning of ski season. Futures markets this morning are in the green, but not by much. The Dow is up 29. That's less than a tenth. The S&P is up 10, and the NASDAQ is in the green by 17.
Still pretty quiet out there on I-15, whether you're headed in southbound or northbound. We'll check it. Traffic and weather together coming up next.
Hey, diamond lovers. Shane Company knows fine jewelry. That means a lot when you're looking for a dream engagement ring, a beautiful keepsake, or the perfect gift. When it's this important, you want someone who knows exactly how to work with your budget. Not against it. Someone who knows you deserve a piece more beautiful than you've ever imagined. Through 4 generations as a family business, we've always sourced our diamonds and gemstones directly, cut out the middleman, and passed the savings on to you. Come see us in store and compare our wide selection of diamonds, rubies, and a rainbow of sapphires in different shapes and sizes. So many in stock and ready to take home today. Create your dream engagement ring in 3 easy steps. Or pick a perfectly preset ring that's created by our in-house design team. Browse our selection of fine jewelry gifts for everyone in your life, from diamond and gemstone studs to must-have tennis bracelets and beautiful birthstone necklaces. With our everyday competitive prices and unmatched free lifetime warranty, Shane Company is your go-to destination for fine jewelry. Visit shaneco.com and come in to see for yourself. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Hi, Grandma. What's for dinner?
Hey, honey, I'm making stew tonight.
Ooh, can Nina come over?
I'm not sure about our new friend. I wonder if there's been any drinking going on. Alcohol at her age can lead to so many bad things.
I've been meaning to ask you, what would happen if someone offered you a drink?
Grandma?
This is hard. She's so young, but I know I need to talk to her about it now before someone tries to give her alcohol.
If anyone ever does offer you a drink, I want you to say no. I have too much respect for my family, and I don't want to get in trouble.
Okay.
Really?
I promise, Grandma. I love you too.
Okay, how about tasting this stew and telling me what you think?
Some children may try alcohol as young as 9 years old. It's not too early to talk about drinking. For tips on how to begin the conversation, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov. That's underagedrinking.samhsa.gov. This message brought to you by SAMHSA and this station.
3 days of coverage.
They plan to add more workers and voting bays if things get too busy.
Generally, people are moving through pretty quickly.
3 days of analysis and breaking updates.
When it's done right, it's interesting, it's invigorating, and I love it.
Listen each time you jump in the car, today, tomorrow, and Wednesday, here on KSL News Radio.
It is 5:29. Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Sinclair's Dino Pay app. Save up to 20 cents a gallon. Let's get back over to Andy Farnsworth.
You got a crash as you head from Mountain Green towards Peterson and Morgan. There's just after Mountain Green, right lane block, traffic slow going past it. And that's the only one affecting any freeways. I-15 looks good from Ogden to Salt Lake, and so far so good northbound from Draper to downtown. Eric?
If you're in Tooele County, SR 36, no problems heading north up to I-80. If you're on I-80 in the mountains, that's looking good through Parley's Canyon. It looks like we got a couple of slow-moving semis westbound heading from Jeremy Ranch up over the top of Parley Summit. I-15 in Utah County moving at a steady rate of speed. It's a 20-minute drive from Provo to Point of the Mountain. Is your home ready for the holidays? Get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $119 and take 20% off upholstery cleaning by booking online anytime at zerores.com. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
So for today, we'll get up to 47 degrees. It looks like we'll have some clouds, but there's no rain in the forecast. We do have rain and snow tomorrow. And then back to just cloudy on Wednesday. We stay in the 40s all week, but on Saturday we warm up to 50. That'll be nice, especially with that late night game up on the hill. Right now, downtown, clear skies, 32 degrees.
You're listening to Utah's Morning News with Tim Hughes and Amanda Dixon
on KSL News Radio,
102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
Good morning, KSL News Time, 5:30.
KSL's top story this hour.
Pennsylvania is one of the top focus points of the presidential election. ABC's Josh Einiger is in Philadelphia.
In the deep red center of Pennsylvania,
Kamala, you're fired.
Donald Trump was hard at work priming his supporters.
Look at what's going on. Look at what's going on in your state.
In case he loses this all-important state.
They're talking about extending hours and stuff. Who ever heard of this stuff?
Kamala Harris was in Michigan, but she and Trump will be back in the Keystone State. Each candidate must win Pennsylvania.
Several of the latest polls show the two candidates are nearly deadlocked in Pennsylvania, with the results being within the margin of error.
NBC is facing criticism for Vice President Harris's appearance on Saturday Night Live over the weekend. ABC's Andrew Dimpert has more.
Saturday Night Live under scrutiny. An FCC commissioner scolding the show for hosting Vice President Harris. Trump-appointed Commissioner Brendan Carr says Harris's appearance was unfair to former President Trump. The FCC says Carr's statements do not represent the commission's official views, noting it has not made any determination regarding political programming rules, nor have we received a complaint from any interested parties.
NBC says they made up for the 90-second cameo made by the vice president on SNL by giving the Trump campaign free airtime for a 60-second ad during a NASCAR race on Sunday.
A majority of Americans say inflation will be a big factor as they cast their votes. KSL News Radio's Britt Johnson has more.
The American Family Survey says most people consider themselves very worried about inflation, but Zions Bank chief economist Robert Spenlove says your choice of president may not have as big of an impact as you think because the president doesn't have direct influence on the price of goods. However, their policies could have an impact on how quickly we recover from the sticker shock of the past few years.
Spenlove says inflation is returning to a normal range, but it still feels out of control because income has not kept up with prices. He says our country is now heading into the healing phase, but that could take a few years.
Be sure to keep your radio tuned to KSL News Radio through the election for the latest coverage and results starting tomorrow night at 6. And we'll have special coverage Wednesday morning. You can also find updates at kslnewsradio.com.
Squirrel. Rivalry Week is back for the first time in 3 years. Nice distraction. We're now just days away from kickoff between BYU and Utah football. KSL News Radio's Adam Small has more. Adam?
Tim, the Cougars and Utes are gearing up for their first matchup since 2021 and the first in Rice-Eccles Stadium since 2018. BYU head coach Kalani Sitake says they've kind of missed being in the same conference as the Utes the past several years.
This truly is a cool reunion, and I don't know what the result of the game is going to be, but I think the level of respect and admiration should be from both sides.
And the script has been completely flipped from the preseason. BYU is sitting alone atop the Big 12, looking to make it 9-0 with a win, while the Utes look to play spoiler and end a 4-game losing streak. Kickoff is going to be the nightcap, 8:15 Saturday night. Live, Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
The leaders of BYU and Utah are calling on fans to keep the rivalry lighthearted and to do good for the community instead. KSL News Radio's Michael Commit is live with more. Michael?
Amanda, both Presidents Taylor Randall and C. Shane Reese are endorsing the Rival Right initiative, a project challenging fans to keep the game competitive but to never let it get personal. The two shared a message on social media calling on Utes and Cougars to respect the other side.
However hot the rivalry gets, you don't let the competition get in the way of your common humanity.
And remember, what happens off the field matters just as much as the score.
To drive the point home, both schools are hosting the Tackling Hunger Together food drive from now to the 27th. You can donate non-perishable food at Smith's locations between Salt Lake and Utah County. Reporting live, Michael Commit, KSL News Radio.
Grumbling on both sides, by the way, about kickoff time of 8:15 p.m.
Especially because it's going to get down to 30 that night.
Well, and that means back east it's 10:15 when it kicks, and midnight before you get to halftime or about that time. The college basketball regular season gets underway today. The Utah Utes at home playing Alcorn State tonight. Weber State's going to host Northwest Indian College. BYU will host Central Arkansas tomorrow. Utah State opens their season on Wednesday, also against Alcorn State.
A police officer is being investigated after a fight at Saturday's football game between Georgia and Florida got violent. The fight involved an officer seen on camera hitting a fan multiple times. ABC's Rhiannon Alley has the story.
Jacksonville's mayor saying, "I'm aware of several disturbing videos circulating. The incidents are under investigation." One safety analyst says it appears the officers were following their training because one fan could be seen with his hand around an officer's waist near the officer's firearm.
The fight started with a seat mix-up.
All right, let's check first look traffic here and go over to Andy Farnsworth.
We got a report of an accident. Sounds like out in West Valley near 3500 South and 3600 West. It may not be on 3500 South. I haven't seen it as of yet, but it could be affecting you. Freeways have all been pretty clear. If you're on I-84, though, going from Mountain Green towards Peterson, you're going to see delay because of a crash. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL weather with Matt Johnson.
I've got dry weather today with highs cold, at least 10 below the normal, 47, mostly sunny. Clouds will increase overnight tonight, and that's out ahead of another cold front that doesn't look very strong, weaker than our last three storms.
We do have a chance of getting a rain-snow mix tomorrow.
A tornado outbreak left behind destruction in Oklahoma City.
A trail of destruction after multiple reported tornadoes tore through parts of Oklahoma, one touching down in Oklahoma City. Nearly a dozen people injured.
It was really heavy rain that woke us up and some thunder.
One tornado, a powerful EF3 with winds of at least 136 miles per hour. Dozens of homes and buildings were damaged or destroyed. Cars flipped over. Homes ripped apart.
ABC's Allison Cossack says that Oklahoma City officials say nearly 100 buildings were damaged, 39 destroyed.
Dozens of homes have been evacuated near Austin, Texas, as fire crews work to contain a wildfire. Will Sellers is renting a nearby property and says he does not know if his dogs and goats are safe.
Pretty nervous. Definitely more concerned about them than the material stuff over there.
The fire has burned over 400 acres.
A local Instagram creator says she's amazed by the response after she asked her followers to help out the West Valley Animal Shelter because it was in need of more food. Brandy Chenoweth runs the dog-friendly SLC Instagram account featuring her dog, Scout.
Scout is turning 7. Why don't we all just donate $7 in honor of Scout, even though, Scout's a golden retriever with a pretty plush life, so he doesn't know what's going on. But on his behalf, I'm honored.
People stepped up, and the donations totaled over $10,000 for one day.
That is so great. We have no crashes to report right now. Monday morning commute off to a good start. We'll check traffic and weather coming up next.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station, as close as your pocket.
I usually go to the KSL app.
Because it's on your phone, you have such a wide ability to choose what you're listening to.
That's the only news app that I use.
Listen anytime, anywhere with the KSL News Radio app.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
You're busy. We get it.
Life moves fast, and there's hardly a moment to breathe. But for the next 10 seconds, this is your time. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Inhale, exhale. Feeling a little lighter? Taking action is one of the most powerful forms of self-care. In 2024, voting is self-care. Visit rockthevote.org and take action in just 3 easy steps. Check your registration, check in with yourself, and check your voting plan. Visit rockthevote.org.
Pretty easy to figure out where all the focus is going to be on tomorrow night's election, and that is Pennsylvania. Both candidates are there on this last full day of campaigning, and we'll continue to follow what's happening on the ground there with Your Voice, Your Vote 2024.
5:39 now. Traffic and weather together brought to you by Sinclair's DinoPay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. And back over to you, Andy.
Amanda, travel on I-15 looking good from Ogden to Salt Lake. There's a crash just off the freeway Marriott-Slaterville on 2000 West at about, looks like they may be letting some traffic through now. It's just north of Pioneer Road. At one point, they were diverting all traffic back around to go back down to Pioneer Road, but they might be letting it through now. And then on I-84 in Weber Canyon, a crash as you head east, from Mountain Green towards Peterson. Eric?
And there's no crashes on the freeways in Utah County. We're looking good on I-15. If you're heading north from Spanish Fork to Point of the Mountain, that's a 24-minute drive. Provo Canyon on 189 out to the Wasatch back looks good. US 40 in the Heber City, Park City area, no problems there. And I-80 through Parley's Canyon, that's also looking good. Michael McLean is back in the Forgotten Carols, the unforgettable story and songs that are a Christmas tradition for families everywhere. See it in Orem, Salt Lake, and Ogden. Tickets at ForgottenCarols.com. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
We'll take a bye day in the weather department. 47 today, dry skies and mostly sunny. 35 overnight, still chilly, but clouds increasing. Tomorrow afternoon, high of 45, and a chance for rain, snow showers. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
35 would actually be an improvement. It's 30 under clear skies downtown this hour.
We have a story to soothe your anxious heart on this day before Election Day. Have you ever seen those pianos over on the plaza outside Symphony Hall?
Oh, where they just have them sitting for people to sit down and play?
We have a great story from Peter Rosen coming up about who is tuning all of those pianos.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's just a hit.
Stay with us, streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio, Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
One of the things with running is I want to enjoy the run, but I never made it very far because the arches in my feet just killed me. So when I got to the end of my rope and I said I have to do something to get rid of the pain, and a couple people recommended the Good Feet store to me. I loved how I could go in and get a free personalized arch support fitting. They put that time, that work, that effort into helping you find the right arch supports. And you can walk around this store with these in your shoes and try them out before you purchase them. So after I got my arch supports, the arches on my feet stopped hurting and the pain instantly, literally instantly went away. So if you have pain, go. Find a Good Feet store and go. And there is an answer. Find the simple solution that will get rid of your pain. I'm Rondi, and that's my Good Feet story.
See how Good Feet arch supports work for you before you buy with a free fitting and test walk at the Good Feet store.
The Good Feet store. Walk-ins welcome, or visit goodfeet.com for more information.
Over the years, you've brought them into your home. You were prescribed opioids after the C-section, when Dad injured his back, when your basketball star tore his ACL. Opioids helped with the pain, and you held on to them just in case. But did you know holding on to unused opioids puts your family at risk? Opioids are powerful pain-reducing prescription medicines, but most people who are prescribed opioids don't finish their prescriptions. So millions of unused opioids are sitting in homes across the country. And tragically, more than 100 Americans die every day from overdoses involving opioids. What can you do to protect your family? Remove the risk of unused opioids from your home. Pills, patches, or syrups in drawers, purses, and cabinets, anywhere they might be hiding. To find out how to dispose of them properly, visit www.fda.gov/drug disposal.
Good morning, KSL News Time, 5:45. The three things you need to know this hour. First,
The residents of BYU and Utah are challenging fans to keep the rivalry competitive but civil leading up to the big game this weekend. I'm KSL News Radio's Michael Commit.
Second, a local economist says inflation is on the minds of voters as they head to the polls, and both major candidates are promising to work on bringing prices down.
Third, it's traffic and weather together.
So far, so good on I-15 all the way from Ogden to Provo and everywhere in between. Going up the canyons this morning, despite the cold temperatures, road conditions are actually pretty good. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
Cold weather for most of this week and a small little storm tomorrow. I'm Matt Johnson.
It's cold this morning, 30 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
Candidates head to Pennsylvania today, this day before the election. Let's check in with ABC News.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. The presidential campaign coming down to the final push across a handful of states on this election eve. Kamala Harris will spend all of today in Pennsylvania. Donald Trump will be there in Michigan and in North Carolina. 30,000 households and businesses without power in Oklahoma following a string of tornadoes near Oklahoma City. Governor Kevin Stitt on tomorrow's voting.
Tuesday for the polling stations, we're prioritizing making sure those are all up. We'll advise the public if there's any issue there with the polling stations and kind of reroute people if we need to, if that comes.
78 million Americans have already cast their ballots. The King and Queen of Spain, as well as the Prime Minister, all pelted with mud when they tried to visit the hard-hit Valencia region. That area of southeast Spain hit with deadly flooding last week. People accuse the government of not doing enough. The great Quincy Jones, who produced Michael Jackson's Thriller and hundreds of other hits, has died. He was 91. This is ABC News.
All right, here's a story to calm the soul during a busy election week. An art exhibit that puts pianos outside in downtown Salt Lake City got some help this summer from an unlikely piano tuner.
We get the story from KSL TV's Peter Rosen.
It's as certain as rust and peeling paint. Matters march towards entropy, disorder, simply put on a piano.
What's fun about this piano is we can see the action very easily.
Gary Billings of the Gina Bachauer International Piano Foundation knew that when he put a half dozen art pianos
This was always meant to be a temporary exhibit.
outside, where entropy gets a big assist from the elements. As expected, notes veered off key and off the keyboard, but unexpectedly, one piano, destined for the landfill,
Wow.
held its own.
It's in tune, everything's working.
An anonymous piano tuner striking in the dead of daylight. A mystery until an explanation rolled up before a concert.
So you're the guy that's been tuning the pianos?
Yep, that's me.
Stephen Mueller
And I asked him, well, are you a professional technician?
is not a piano tuner
I design chips, computer chips.
and was not a pianist until the death of a high school classmate, a guitarist, 6 years ago, reminded him nothing lasts and moved him to take lessons.
Really wanted to be able to improvise, kind of let out the musical thoughts I had in my head.
Always looking for public pianos to play,
I love to play for people.
found this one in need of tuning, and with the help of YouTube, took up a hobby most people don't.
I mean, people go, they study for years to get skilled at this technique.
Finding the string that's vibrating.
Amazingly, he kept this piano in pretty playable shape for months.
Stephen Mueller knew he was on the losing side of the equation.
The second law of thermodynamics, everything tends towards disorder.
A family of bees had taken up residence inside this piano, so we had to put a sign up to say, play at your own risk.
Storing a piano outside is not recommended.
But the story doesn't end here. Stephen Mueller officially adopted the piano.
So did you tell your wife the piano followed you home?
Effectively, yes.
Someday entropy may win out, but for now the piano remains somewhat in tune, out of the landfill, and in what perhaps sounds like just the right hands.
Thank you for that, Peter.
Yeah,
I walk
that's
past
great
that
stuff.
the Bravenel Hall all the time, and I see the pianos out. Only see people playing them once in a while, but it was always beautiful to see.
I'll tell you what I love are the viral videos that are out there on YouTube and some of the others, where these pianos are set up in places like airports and in just mall areas, and someone will sit down and start to play, and somebody will sit down next to them on the bench and play,
Harmony.
the other hand of it
Yeah.
or harmony it, or somebody will come along and start singing along with them, just impromptu.
It's a wonderful way of connecting people. Music does that, doesn't
And
it?
how music brings people together. It's great stuff. All right, 5:49, time for a look at traffic and weather together. It's brought to you, of course, by Sinclair's Dino Pay app. Save up to 20 cents a gallon. Andy, how are we looking?
Well, right now we're looking okay. I-15 still all clear. Haven't seen any delays along the 215 east or west sides, but Bangor are starting to slow a little bit right before you get to the 21st South Freeway. Now, we may still have that crash eastbound on I-84 near Mountain Green, but I don't see the slowing anymore that we had earlier in the hour heading towards Peterson. Eric?
215 East Belt heading north right now. We're not seeing any delays. We'll keep track of that. 6200 south up to the mouth of the canyon looking good. And then if you're going into Parley's Canyon, I-80, right now no trouble northbound or southbound getting up over the top of the summit. Down in Utah County, I-15 still at a normal travel time. It's 28 minutes from Payson to Point of the Mountain. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast. We've got a few days in a row here with highs 10 below the normal. Cold today, 47, mostly sunny. 45 tomorrow with a shallow cold front, bringing in a chance for some rain-snow showers. Down to 43 for a high on Wednesday, mostly sunny. Full-on sunshine, 44 on Thursday. Friday and Saturday, mid-40s, low 50s. We go partly cloudy on Sunday, 54. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Let's see where we are. 30 degrees right now. And the 7-day forecast brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful.
I noticed Dave and Deb are going to be out at the Davis County Clerk's office on Main Street in Farmington tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
On Election Day, they'll be talking to voters and find out what they are talking about, but they'll also be able to give you some traffic information, I'm sure, about what the crowds are like.
Yeah, I wonder because so many people early voted if we won't have the lines to wait in like we did in years past.
That's what's interesting to me. We talk about all of the early voting, but how many of those are first-time voters? How many didn't vote in the last cycle? How many are just replacing it with showing up on Election Day?
Maybe.
That's one of the big questions, not just here, but all over the country. And I saw a thing the other day that 20% in Pennsylvania did not vote in the last presidential election cycle.
Oh, wow.
And have already put in their early votes. So
oh, wow, that's interesting.
It does make it interesting going into the count tomorrow. Anyway, we'll have lots of great coverage for you. Your Voice, Your Vote 2024. Our news time is 5:52.
We all want our kids to grow up safe and healthy, so we show them how. And we tell them with honest conversations that let them know what we expect. Not just one time, but every chance we get. That's especially important when it comes to alcohol and other drugs. Kids not only need to know the dangers and how to avoid them, they need to hear it often from you. And when it comes to pain medications, opioids, they need to know that they should never be taken without a prescription and never shared with friends or family. It's dangerous and illegal. So talk with your kids and guide them through the challenges of growing up safe and healthy. Because when you talk, they hear you. For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
So talk, hear you can do it if you try.
On the surface, it seemed like just another Cinderella story.
A team that was predicted to finish dead last is now waiting to play the first round of the playoffs.
But Real Salt Lake's 2021 playoff run was so much more than what happened on the pitch.
Our club is burning to the ground.
This is the tip of the iceberg. Making of a Moment, the RSL story, is available now.
I just kind of got chills right now thinking about it.
Follow us at makingamomentpod.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
Mom and Dad used to argue about everything, especially about Dad's drinking. My family went from totally crazy to quiet, calm, and even peaceful when Mom started going to Al-Anon family groups. I wanted a better relationship with Dad, so I asked Mom if she would take me to her Al-Anon meetings or to Alateen. I'm sure glad I did. If someone's drinking troubling you, you might be surprised at what you can learn in an Al-Anon or Alateen family group from people just like you. Call 1-888-4-ALANON or go to alanon.org.
As election season winds down, it's time to cast the most important vote of all. Which team you're cheering on in this year's rivalry game. It's KSL's Ballot Battle. Go to KSLNewsRadio.com and cast your ballot. Vote BYU or Utah? When you vote, you're in to win a basket of gear from your team. Cast your ballot now at KSLNewsRadio.com. And may the best team win. It's KSL's Ballot Battle from the legacy home of the BYU Cougars. KSL News Radio.
Watching Utah's Money this morning is brought to you by Trajan Wealth, your trusted local fiduciary advisors, TrajanWealth.com. The price gap between new and used cars have hit an all-time high. Data from Edmund shows the gap is up to $20,000. It comes as used car prices drop and new cars continue to get more expensive.
Consumers are slowly moving away from Black Friday and Cyber Monday and opting for Travel Tuesday. McKinsey & Company reported that searches for Travel Tuesday went up more than 500% in the last few years. Bookings for flights, hotels, and cruises spiked on the day last year.
Unemployed Gen Zers are turning down work because they can't afford to get there. A report from the Prince's Trust Annual NatWest Youth Index 2024, that's quite a name, says 1 in 10 had to turn down a job because they can't afford the commute or even the uniform.
Oh, my gosh. That's interesting. Let's get a look at your money at this moment. The Dow Futures off 28. That's less than a tenth. S&P are unchanged. And the NASDAQ Future is down 33, which is just shy of 0.2%.
Time this morning for Cougar Tracks. It's sponsored by the Premium Checking from America First Credit Union. Learn more at americafirst.com. Here's BYU insider Mitch Harper.
It's been 3 years since BYU and Utah met on the football field. In an era of the transfer portal and consistent roster movement, that means not many players experienced that last meeting between the heated in-state rivals. BYU defensive ends coach Kelly Papinga discussed that dynamic on the KSL Sports Zone.
I think it's going to be new for everybody in a way, so for us, it's just educating. Coach Hill did a great job yesterday getting in front of our defense and educating them on what this rivalry is all about, giving it a little bit of history, and him as a coach, as a player, me as a coach, as a player. We look at our whole staff with Coach Anna, Coach Guilford, Coach Puha. All of us have played in this game. All of us have coached in this game. And so we know what it's about. It's about us educating the players and what it's all about, and not getting them stressed, but it's fun.
For more BYU versus Utah rivalry content throughout the week, download the KSL Sports app today. With Cougar Tracks, I'm Mitch Harper on your legacy home of the BYU Cougars, KSL News Radio.
What's better than a credit card with a low interest rate? How about one with no interest? For a limited time, when you open a new America First Visa, you'll enjoy 0% APR purchases for the first 6 months. Yep, all that buying power and not a single cent of interest for 6 months. That means no interest on summer fun, no interest on back-to-school gear, and no interest on holiday shopping. Interested? Then hurry to americafirst.com to apply for yours today. Introductory variable annual percentage rate. Membership eligibility terms, creditworthiness, and conditions apply. See americafirst.com/visa for details. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal opportunity lender.
Hey, Benjamin, we've got a surprise for you.
What?
You have a brother. $100 bill just like you.
Hey, I'm Ben.
What? We just got him for joining America First Credit Union and opening a new checking account.
And you're going to live together at America First.
What? This is nice.
For a limited time, new members get a $100 cash bonus when they open a checking account or $50 when they open a youth checking account. So head to americafirst.com and get your money working today. Membership eligibility terms and conditions apply. Federally insured by NCUA.
Most of us like to be out in the sun. That's why sunscreen and other safety measures are key to protecting your skin from aging and cancer. The FDA recommends using a sunscreen with a sun protection factor, or SPF, of 15 or higher. Also, look for broad spectrum on the label. That means both harmful ultraviolet A and B rays are blocked. UVA rays age the skin, UVB rays burn, and both cause cancer. But the perfect sunscreen doesn't count if you use it wrong. Don't need sunscreen on a cloudy day? Wrong. 80% of UV rays still get through the haze. Only use sunscreen at the beach? Nope. Anytime you're outside, UV rays attack the skin, so you need protection. And you have to reapply sunscreen every 2 hours. Remember, SPF plus broad spectrum equal healthy fun in the sun. Visit www.fda.gov/sunscreen for more information. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
Tomorrow, we have allocated some additional resources, some more voting booths.
No matter where you have to be or go, stay updated on the races that matter most to you. From county to county and coast to coast, we have you covered all day Election Day. In your car at 102.7 FM or ask Alexa, play KSL News Radio.
5:59, traffic and weather together, brought to you by Sinclair's DinoPay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. And back to you, Andy.
And right now, you've got a little bit of delay northbound Bangerter Highway coming up on 21st South. We don't have any other delays so far. Freeways, I-15 and I-215 looping around the valley are both just fine. And if you're coming south from Davis and Weber County, I-15 all clear from Ogden to Salt Lake. Eric?
Well, we're looking good in Utah County. No problems northbound from Provo to Point of the Mountain. That's a 20-minute drive. And if you're out in Tooele County, SR 36 moving along in pretty good shape, too. Northbound from Tooele through Stansbury all the way up to the Lake Point entrance to I-80. Everything is moving along pretty well. Is the IRS harassing you, garnishing your wages, or threatening asset seizure? Get immediate relief. Contact Utah Tax Attorney Jordan Wilcox. Visit taxhelput.com. That's taxhelput.com. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
47 for a high today, and then we cool off a little bit tomorrow, and the rain showers and even snow return tomorrow afternoon. Right now it's 30 in Salt Lake City.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Good morning. KSL News Time is 6 o'clock. This is Utah's Morning News. I'm Tim Hughes.
And I'm Amanda Dixon. KSL's top story this hour.
If you're sending your ballot back in the mail, you've got to get it done today.
All ballots must be postmarked before the end of the day, but you probably don't want to just leave it in a mailbox. KSL News Radio's Adam Small begins our live team coverage, Your Voice, Your Vote 2024. Adam?
Yeah, Amanda, if you drop your ballot in the outgoing mail on your way out the door today, there's really no guaranteeing that it will get postmarked before the end of the day. So at this point, you're going to want to physically take your ballot inside a post office, even ask a worker to postmark it right then and there. Some of them will. But if that's not a feasible option for you today, it might just be easier to bring it to an official election drop box, which if you do, would also give you a little bit more time. You can do that through tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. Live Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
It's still not too late to register to vote, but you'll need to come prepared. KSL News Radio's Michael Commit is live with how? Michael?
Tim, Utah allows you to register and vote on the same day. You'll just need to bring two forms of ID with you. Something as simple as a driver's license or a state/federal ID card will get you registered. Passports, tribal cards, or even your concealed carry permit will work as well. And if you lack any of those, then you can also go for non-photo IDs, just as long as they have your address on it. Acceptable forms include bank or financial statements, naturalization records, or just your social security card or a utility bill from the past 3 months. Reporting live, Michael Commit, KSL News Radio.
KSL's top national stories this hour. The top presidential candidates are squeezing in as many campaign events in battleground states as they can. Here is Vice President Harris at an event in Michigan.
Michigan, I am here to ask for your vote. I am here to ask for your vote.
Former President Trump spoke to people in Georgia.
It would be nice. It's obviously not necessary, but it would really be nice to have more votes than they do.
So far, reports say over 77 million Americans have taken advantage of early voting.
Be sure to stay with KSL News Radio throughout the election to get the latest breaking news, both on air and, of course, at KSLNewsRadio.com. We have special election night coverage starting at 6 tomorrow night, and we'll have special coverage Wednesday morning for you here with the latest results.
The UN says the conditions in Gaza are getting worse.
UN agencies now describing the situation in North Gaza as apocalyptic. A month into Israel's renewed ground offensive there, the UN now saying 6 people, including 4 children, were injured following a strike on the Sheikh Radwan clinic. That's where efforts are underway to restart the polio vaccination campaign again, which was put on hold because of the intense fighting, and still in some areas it's simply too dangerous for aid organizations to reach those areas.
ABC's Britt Clennett is in Jerusalem and also reports Iran is ramping up their threats against Israel.
The body of a missing young woman was found near Farmington Canyon after a 2-day search. Brad McDonald tells KSL-TV that Mia Casto was last seen at his house on Friday. He'd never met her before, and she just walked into his home. She then left and walked into the woods. He and other volunteers joined police in the search, but they were not successful.
I think we were all afraid that that's what the result was going to be after 2 nights in very cold temperatures. But it was hard to hear that, and it was hard to, not kind of blame ourselves that we didn't stop her from leaving our house, but we didn't know.
Casta was not dressed for cold weather. Police haven't yet said how she died.
Could avian flu affect Thanksgiving? State officials say they are concerned about turkey farms in central Utah. KSL News Radio's Tammy Kikuchi reports.
Avian flu is highly contagious and can be spread by wild migratory waterfowl and turkeys. But the state veterinarian says the greatest danger may be over as the migration is ending. But Oregon recently reported 2 cases of bird flu in pigs. It's an emerging problem for pigs, and officials say they're watching it closely before imposing any restrictions on the pig farms in southern Utah.
So far, there is no concern for humans who eat the infected poultry.
Andy's here now with your first look traffic.
And right now, traffic on I-15 still holding up just fine into and out of Salt Lake. There was supposed to be a crash that was down on 146 South near Porter Rockwell Boulevard in Bluffdale, but I don't see a lot of delay from that. And traffic not being affected to any significant amount on city streets other than maybe Bankett or Highway in West Valley. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
Communities in Spain are trying to clean up after getting hit by some of the worst flooding in the nation's history. Park City resident Jansen Jacobson is close friends with Spanish exchange student Pablo Chinchilla, and he's been working on ways to help out. KSL TV's Brianna Chavez reports.
I just woke up and I got emotional. First thing I did was text him, call him.
Pablo and his family thankfully are safe, but knows others were not so lucky.
We have been the last 5 days cleaning the streets, cleaning houses, helping each other.
Despite being thousands of miles away,
if it were up to me, I would be out there in the city helping them.
Jansen decided to start a fundraiser to help his friend and the town he's grown to love.
You can learn more about the fundraiser on KSL TV's website.
The music world has lost a legend. The man who made Michael Jackson's music video Thriller, Quincy Jones, has passed away at 91 years old.
In the 1950s, Jones followed his passion working as a trumpeter and conductor for Lionel Hampton's band, and would go on to work with jazz greats, including Sarah Vaughan. In 1978, Q, as he was called by friends, produced the soundtrack for The Wiz. He was also the man behind the all-star charity single, We Are the World. Ike Ajachi, ABC News, Washington, D.C.
Disney is looking at using AI and augmented reality in both movies and at its theme parks.
Disney is forming a new business unit to coordinate the company's use of emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence and mixed reality. According to an article from Reuters, the media giant is exploring the use of AI applications across its film, television, and theme park divisions. What is to be dubbed the Office of Technology Enablement will be led by Jamie Voris, the film studio's chief technology officer, who spearheaded the development of the Apple Vision Pro mixed reality headset. Tech News, Chuck Palm.
Well, I'll tell you, the Imagineers at Disney,
yeah.
A little nervous when you talk about, some jobs that could be on the edge when AI moves in to start doing
It's
some of
going
the
to affect media, maybe most, although I think it affects everything in some capacity.
Yeah, and on the creative side, you just don't know where this is going to go, but interesting. Some early congestion, Bankett between 3500 South and the 201 Highway out in West Valley City. We'll check that spot with traffic and weather together next.
Bigger stories demand more accountability, more experience, more trust.
If it's like an election day or we're expecting some bad weather,
KSL presents the story. Unbiased.
It's a good local source.
We have you covered at KSL News Radio.
To all you tool people out there, has Harbor Freight got a deal for you? Big savings every single day this November. Because we know that right now, when the price of everything only seems to go up, you need a place where prices stay low. So shop in-store or online for quality tools you can trust at prices you'll love every day. Whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight.
In business, service is everything. Cintas delivers what you need to better serve your customers. Whether it's freshly laundered work apparel for almost any job imaginable, tested and inspected fire protection systems, first aid and safety supplies, on-site AED training, or mops and restroom products, stocked and ready when you need them. Better work days happen together. So visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Get up to a 30% upfront bonus to use for your retirement income, or up to 12% per year to help grow your retirement income. Whether you're in retirement or will be retiring within 10 years, Trajan Wealth can offer some of the highest guarantees in the business. I'm Jeff Jr. with Trajan Wealth, and I know no one wants to work forever. We all need to retire someday, and I know you've worked hard for your money, so now is the time to guarantee it. Take advantage of up to a 30% upfront bonus for your retirement income, or up to 12% per year for retirement income. Don't woulda, shoulda, coulda. Get up to a 30% bonus just for opening an account, or up to 12% per year for retirement income. Don't leave your retirement to chance. Retire the right way, the Trajan way, with Trajan Wealth. Call Trajan today at 801-899-7600. That's 801-899-7600.
Annuity guarantees are based on the claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. DBA in most states says Trajan Wealth Insurance Solutions.
We're going to do what we can throughout the day today to help you remember to get your ballot in the mail. It's the last day you can do that. Needs to be postmarked today. Just one of the many reminders we'll have for you here on KSL. It's 6:09, time for a look at traffic and weather together, brought to you by Sinclair's Dino Pay app. Save up to 20 cents a gallon. You said we've already got a few slow spots, huh, Eddie?
It's getting a little bit heavy in a few spots. We got a little bit of slowing northbound Bangor just before the 21st South Freeway, and some construction-related, roadwork-related slowing along State Street near 5900 South in Murray. But I-15 looks good so far, as does 215 on both sides of the valley. Heather?
We do have construction as well. Northbound I-15 through parts of Farmington. Some areas of the road, especially around Park Lane in Farmington, are down to 2 lanes. So from time to time that slows people down. But most of the traffic is heading southbound. And right now it's at freeway speeds from Ogden to Salt Lake. But we're still dealing with a crash in the Marriott-Slaterville area. It's 2000 west southbound between 1100 and 1200 north. Eric.
And we're still at a normal rate of speed in Utah County on I-15. No problems there. The major city streets, the busiest right now looks to be US 89 as you head between 1400 South and 400 North in Springville. But over in the north part of the county where it does get busiest as far as city streets, Pioneer Crossing and 2100 North, both those looking good at this early juncture. When you choose Performance Automotive in Bountiful, you're choosing selection. 4 locations: Performance Ford Lincoln, Performance Honda, Performance Toyota, and Truck Country. See it all at performancebountiful.com. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
Hey, the wet weather takes a break for today. 47 the high, mostly sunny skies. Overnight, 35 the low, with clouds moving in from the northwest. By tomorrow afternoon, 45 the high, and a chance for some rain, snow showers. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Below freezing for the first time, I think, this season. 30 degrees downtown.
Do you think some people still walk into the voting booth and don't know who they're going to vote for until they get there?
I don't know. That's a great question.
I wonder, because you see all this last-minute campaigning that they're doing, and I wonder, are they hoping to have an effect on that voter whose mind can be changed at the last minute?
I saw, and it was a discussion on both sides, that there aren't many out there that believe there's undecideds. There may be undeclared, but not undecideds at this point.
It feels...
Why would you stand in line and go into the booth if you don't know which button you're going to push?
The candidates are so different.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're going to learn more about these last-minute preparations with Clayton Neville coming up in a moment.
Stay with us for that next, streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio, Utah's news, traffic, and weather station. Guess who's coming to the Hughes household today?
Who?
Zero Res.
Oh, awesome, Tim.
We're going to take advantage of their offer of 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at $119. They're also going to tackle the stairs. But we've had them out to do our tile before, and the ground is terribly dirty at the moment. One thing we didn't have them do last time that we are determined to have them do this time is they're going to seal it after they clean it.
Yeah.
Which makes a big difference.
Oh, it does. They just cleaned my grout, and my kitchen, it looks like I remodeled my kitchen because it's just so much lighter. The other thing that you can save on right now, in addition to the 3 rooms, is you can save 20% off your upholstery cleaning. So I know we're all getting our houses ready for the holidays. You do not want your mother-in-law sitting on that couch if it's got stains. Yeah. You need to get those cleaned, and Zero Res can handle that.
Well, we've been babysitting dogs off and on for the last little while, so at times we've had as many as 5 dogs in the house. So you can imagine what that does to the carpet. Anyway, make that call today and take advantage. Again, it's $119 for 3 rooms and 20% off upholstery throughout the month of November. The number to call, of course, is 801-288-9376.
Or go online at zerores.com.
Food brings people together, but many families don't know where their next meal is coming from. In Utah, 317,000 people, many of whom are children, are struggling with food insecurity. And Macy's is continuing the tradition of bringing hope to families in need. You can help provide hope by donating to Macy's Harvest of Hope Drive, now through November 30th. All donations will be donated to a local food bank to serve families in our communities. Purchase an icon for any amount or a prepackaged bag of food with items that food pantries need most at any Macy's store or online at Macys.com. Look for items tagged with the Harvest of Hope icon throughout the store. A portion of sales from those items will also be donated to local food pantries. Together, we can make a difference in our communities and provide hope to families and children facing food insecurity. Visit Macys.com or your local Macy's grocery store to learn more.
Febreze. So my home is also my office. And before I can focus, every room's gotta be clean. That means tidying up and spraying my Febreze Air Mist. Ooh, that's fresh. Febreze Air Mist scents are all high quality. They fight any weird funk, and they give my air an instant boost of freshness. So not only does my home smell good, I feel good too. After I Febreze, it's time to start my day. Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy two. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
KSL News Time, 6:15. The 3 things you need to know this hour. First,
you can still register to vote in person before the election, but you'll need 2 forms of identification to do so. I'm KSL News Radio's Michael Commit.
Second, the state is keeping an eye on Utah's turkey flocks because of avian flu that showed up in chickens and cows.
Third, it's traffic and weather together.
Speeds on I-15 are still good into Salt Lake, whether you're coming from Provo or the south end of Salt Lake County or heading south from Ogden through Davis and Weber counties. But traffic a little bit heavy on a few city streets scattered around. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
Mostly sunny skies today, but cold with highs in the 40s. I'm Matt Johnson.
Right now, 34 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
We've shifted to talking about election in hours rather than days. Let's check in with ABC News.
From ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. The 2024 presidential election is now just hours away. 78 million Americans have already cast their ballots. ABC national correspondent Stephen Portnoy has more on Donald Trump's closing message.
The former president holds 4 events on this final day of the campaign, bouncing from Raleigh, North Carolina to 2 stops in Pennsylvania and a final election eve rally in what's become a Trump campaign tradition in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Trump says he believes he's running ahead of Harris, but he also told ABC's Jonathan Karl in a phone call yesterday that there is the chance he might not win. You could lose, he acknowledged. Bad things could happen.
ABC's Mary Bruce has more on the Harris campaign in Michigan.
Eager to end on a positive note, Harris not mentioning her opponent by name, opting to focus less on Donald Trump and more on the kind of president she would be.
I pledge to listen to those who will be impacted by the decisions I make.
But in a state with one of the largest Arab and Muslim populations, Harris well aware the war in the Middle East is a crucial issue. In East Lansing, opening her remarks with a pledge to end the conflict and suffering.
And ABC News Chief Justice correspondent Pierre Thomas has more on Election Day security.
In the final hours of the campaign, local officials are taking extraordinary steps to protect election workers. In Detroit, they have bulletproof glass and a panic button for workers to call police who will be stationed around the building, even on the roof. In Maricopa County, Arizona, metal detectors, armed guards, surveillance cameras, and if necessary, a SWAT team.
In and around Oklahoma City, the governor says they have taken precautions to keep ballot locations open following a string of tornadoes in the area. Legendary musician Quincy Jones has died. He was a producer, a performer, a philanthropist, giving this advice to Billboard magazine.
Know who you are and learning to love who you are, because you can't love anybody else if you don't love yourself.
You're listening to ABC News.
Your voice, your vote 2024. Special coverage on KSL News Radio.
As you just heard from ABC News, last-minute presidential campaigning is underway, with most of the major polls still showing a tight race and the numbers falling within the margin of error.
America in the Morning's Clayton Neville has the latest on both Vice President Harris and former President Trump's campaign rallies.
The battleground states are the site of a slew of campaigning ahead of the presidential election. The candidates encouraging Americans to get out and cast a ballot.
Vote, vote, vote. We're going to win it.
Former President Donald Trump held a rally in North Carolina yesterday.
With your vote on Tuesday, I will end inflation. I will stop the invasion of criminals coming into your country. Your country is under siege.
He told the crowd that this election is a choice
between whether we will have 4 more years of incompetence and failure or whether we will begin the 4 greatest years in the history of our country.
Democrats see it differently, though. Harris took the campaign stage in East Lansing.
Let us remember that there is power in knowing that we are together, and let us remember that your vote is your voice, and your voice is your power.
The running mate's hard at work, too. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz was in the battleground state of Georgia, where he held an Atlanta event with second gentleman Doug Imhoff.
Kamala Harris has done everything we could ask of her. She is leading us down that field. Now it's our turn to get her over the goal line.
And Trump's running mate, Senator J.D. Vance, was in Derry, New Hampshire.
We're fighting for the basic principle that if you work hard and play by the rules, you ought to be able to get ahead in this country that all of us love. Now, I believe that that can happen, and I believe it will happen, but it won't happen unless we give the American people a president who is fit to lead this great nation.
Today, the candidates will be making a number of stops. Walz and Vance each slated to hold events in La Crosse, Wisconsin, as they hit that state hard. And Pennsylvania, a big focus for the presidential candidates, both Trump and Harris holding rallies in Pittsburgh, and the vice president also hosting a rally in concert in Philadelphia. I'm Clayton Neville.
Hang in there, everybody. As Boyd Matheson says, focus on Wednesday.
Yeah, the most important day is actually the day after the election.
How we can help each other as neighbors and so on. 6:19, traffic and weather together, brought to you by Sinclair's Dino Pay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. And we go back over to you, Andy.
Amanda, travel through Salt Lake County has been good on the freeways thus far, even the 201 freeway, which is only a few people that catch the red light at 7200 West are having to wait at all. Bangerter and Mountain View looking good as you head through West Valley so far. And State Street a little bit busy in Murray on either side of I-215. Heather?
Looks like crews are in the process of removing some of the barrels northbound I-15 in Farmington, but all the flashing lights and the people on the freeway are slowing traffic down just a bit, especially going past Park Lane. Southbound I-15 is filling in, getting pretty busy now between Clearfield and Farmington. And you still have lane restrictions up in Marriott-Slaterville. This is 2000 West. It's heading southbound between 1200 and 1100 North. And it's due to an earlier crash still being cleaned up. Eric.
It's a good ride on I-15 in Utah County. 24 minutes of drive time from Spanish Fork to Point of the Mountain. Major feeders over to the freeway also looking good. Enjoy Utah's beautiful snow with winter tubing fun for the family at Soldier Hollow Nordic Center in Midway. Their 1,200-foot sliding lanes mean longer rides and more time to slide. Book now at UtahOlympicLegacy.org. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast has plenty of cold weather to go around. 47 today with mostly sunny skies. 45 tomorrow, rain, snow, showers. Drying things out on Wednesday, 43. 44, sunshine on Thursday. Friday, mid-40s, back up to 50s on Saturday, sunshine. Into Sunday we go with highs in the mid-40s, partly cloudy skies. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Just got a note from one of our texters in Sandy saying it was 25 degrees there now. And 19 in Park City. I just checked. But in downtown Salt Lake City, we'll accept the 30 degrees has been dealt to us. And the 7-day forecast brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful.
I was just realizing this might be a particularly tough week for people if both their candidate and their college football team lose.
Don't even think about that.
All right.
That's already crossed my mind.
Let's put it in perspective, though. Are your kids healthy?
Yeah.
Then that's all we got to worry about.
Yeah. You're right.
Yeah.
There are a lot of things to be thinking about beyond. And here's the message that I've heard some news organizations out there pushing, that really your life is going to be fine on the other side of this. No matter who wins the presidential election, your life is going to be
just fine and go on as normal.
Yeah.
Right. And the same true if your college football team loses.
Well, I don't know about that. I'm not so sure about that one, but it is fun to have that little distraction this week going into the rivalry week here on KSL. Coming up in a minute, we'll see what's happening with the markets. Apple making headlines again today. We'll tell you why.
Are you tired of yo-yo dieting? Are you thinking about trying the latest fad prescription drug with their long list of possible serious side effects? Most people don't realize that while you may lose weight, it's just temporarily suppressing your hunger, so as soon as you get off the drug, your frustration and your weight could come right back to haunt you. At slcfatloss.com, we know the secret to quick weight loss and, most importantly, safe and lasting weight loss. Our program has helped thousands of clients break the weight loss code. Gone are the starvation diet plans. Our program is healthy weight loss, using real whole foods and proprietary strategies to help guide our clients through their successful weight loss with a roadmap to keep the weight off long term.
I'm Maria Chaleos. With the help of Salt Lake City Fat Loss, I not only lost more than 40 pounds, but I've also been able to keep it off. This program allowed me to lose weight naturally and learn how to keep it off. Find out more at slcfatloss.com. slcfatloss.com. Results may vary.
My friends swim no matter the season, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can sometimes take me out of the moment. Now, thanks to Skyrizi and clear skin, count me in. With Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Watching Utah's Money, brought to you by Trajan Wealth, your trusted local fiduciary advisors, TrajanWealth.com. Apple has committed $1.5 billion to the satellite communications company Globalstar to fund the expansion of iPhone services. The money will allow Globalstar to purchase new satellites and expand its ground infrastructure.
Last hour, didn't we say alcohol sales were down?
Yeah.
Now we're learning that soda sales are booming. Maybe people are switching over here. Data from Evercore ISI shows the total soft drink sales grew 1.3% from a year ago. It's a change from the past 2 decades where sales were declining.
Singapore Airline is planning to add first class to some of their longer flights. Only 4 of these seats will be added to each plane, and the revamp only includes a few planes. The airline is also redoing business cabins as part of an $835 million upgrade.
Markets are mixed to start the morning. We're now in the red on the Dow at least, but it's down just a fraction. It's off 15 points. The S&P is up 5, and the NASDAQ headed the other way, down 4 this hour.
I think the only crash we have is that one up in Marriott-Slaterville that's still being cleared just west of I-15. But we'll check the commute coming up next.
Hello, this is Congresswoman Celeste Malloy. I'm running for re-election to represent you and keep Utah's conservative values in Washington, D.C. Like you, I'm tired of a government that spends too much, listens too little, and makes all of our lives harder. In Washington, I'm pushing back against bad ideas and liberal policies. Let me keep representing you so I can keep fighting for you, because we are just getting started.
I'm Celeste Malloy, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Celeste for Congress.
Americans love using their credit cards, the most secure and hassle-free way to pay. But D.C. politicians want to change that with the Durbin-Marshall credit card bill. This bill lets corporate megastores pick how your credit card is processed, allowing them to use untested payment networks that jeopardize your data security and rewards. Corporate megastores will make more money, and you pay the price. Tell Congress to guard your card, because Americans lose when politicians choose. Learn more at guardyourcard.com. Paid for by the Electronic Payments Coalition.
Before a disaster turns your family's world upside down, it's up to you to be ready. Get a kit, make a plan, be informed. Learn how at www.ready.gov. Brought to you by the Federal Emergency Management Agency and the Ad Council.
Our Cougars have a week off.
He's gonna go! Touchdown!
Prepping for the rivalry game.
Touchdown, BYU!
There's plenty to be excited about, including your calls before BYU-Utah on Cougar Nation. Join us 6 to 7 tonight on KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
KSL News Time, 6:29. Traffic and weather together. Brought to you by Sinclair's Dino Pay app. Save up to 20 cents a gallon. Going to be a pretty sunrise, Andy.
Yeah, it's looking like it. And so far, the drive has been pretty. All I-15 from Draper to downtown, a 20-minute commute time. Mountain View and Bangor are both looking pretty good. On the west side, no extra travel time to have to deal with. Or on the 21st South Freeway yet. Heather?
No brake lights so far up in Weber and Davis County on the major freeways, but southbound I-15 definitely filling in, getting pretty heavy now as you move between Clearfield and Centerville. You also have a bit more traffic on US 89 and Legacy Parkway. The only accident still in play is up in Marriott-Slaterville. It's on 2000 West southbound near 1200 North, still blocking a couple of lanes, but traffic can get through. Eric.
We do have some congestion and slowing on SR 73 in Eagle Mountain. This is for eastbound traffic heading from Sunset Drive over to Ranches Parkway. And beyond that, though, everything does get back to a pretty normal pace as you're heading out towards the freeway. We do have some northbound slowing on Mountain View Corridor from SR 73 up to Redwood Road. And I-15 throughout the county is looking solid at this early hour. Use Superior Water and Air for all your HVAC and plumbing needs. Call 974-9090 or visit SuperiorWaterandAir.com. Superior Water and Air. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
So today will be about 47 degrees with a few clouds, but we have rain and snow. A mix of rain and snow moving in tomorrow. That's about a 60% chance. And that will likely move out by Wednesday when we're just a high temperature of 43 degrees, 44 Thursday, 46 Friday. On Saturday for game day. Unfortunately, the game is at 8:15 at night, so...
Yeah, but the good news is I think that's the first 50-degree day of the week.
So a little bit warmer.
We get a little bit warmer.
We'll take it. We'll take whatever we can get.
Yeah.
Right now, it's clear skies and 30 degrees.
You're listening to Utah's Morning News with Tim Hughes and Amanda Dixon.
On KSL News Radio.
102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
Good morning, KSL News Time, 6:30.
KSL's top story this hour.
The race for the White House is extremely tight in several battleground states. ABC's Christian Cordero kicks off our team coverage. Your voice, your vote 2024. Looking at the latest polls.
A new poll from the battleground states shows Harris with marginal leads in Nevada, North Carolina, and Wisconsin. Trump with a slight lead in Arizona, and even closer races in Georgia, Michigan.
My father-in-law is a lifelong Republican. You'll talk about Ronald Reagan all day. He is voting for Kamala Harris.
And Pennsylvania. In all 7 states, the races are within the poll's margin of error. Christian Cordero, ABC News, Washington.
NBC is being criticized by a member of the FCC for allowing Vice President Harris to make an appearance on the show Saturday Night Live in the final weekend before the election. ABC's Andrew Dimbert tells us what the network did to make good on equal time rules.
Last night, NBC gave Trump this free 60-second ad during NASCAR coverage.
Just remember, Kamala and her friends broke it. I'll fix it.
As for Harris, she appeared with SNL alum Maya Rudolph.
The American people want to stop the chaos and end the drama.
NBC has said it will comply with any regulatory obligations. SNL executive producer Lorne Michaels indicated just last month that neither candidate would appear on the show, citing concern about the FCC's equal time provision.
Presidential candidates have regularly been appearing on late-night shows since 1996 when Republican Bob Dole made an appearance.
Voters say one of the biggest issues on their mind this election is inflation. KSL News Radio's Britt Johnson continues our team coverage. Your voice, your vote, 2024.
The American Family Survey says the majority of people are very worried about inflation. No other economic issue even comes close. But whoever is elected president may not have much direct influence on the price of goods. However, they could create policy that could help. But regardless, our inflation is actually in the normal range. It just doesn't feel like it. Zions Bank chief economist Robert Spenlove says we still have sticker shock from when inflation hit its peak in 2022.
We were hit by that inflation. It's been really difficult, and income holistically hasn't kept up with that inflation. And that's the problem, is the economy needs time to heal, and we're still going through that healing process.
Britt Johnson, KSL News Radio.
Be sure to keep your radio dialed in to KSL News Radio through the election for the latest coverage and results starting tomorrow night at 6. And we'll have special coverage Wednesday morning. You can also find updates at KSLNewsRadio.com.
Here's a little distraction for everybody. Rivalry week is finally here. BYU and Utah football now gearing up for the first matchup in 3 years. KSL News Radio's Adam Small has more. Adam?
And Tim, the rivalry game is coming back to Rice-Eccles Stadium for the first time since 2018, and it'll have conference implications for the first time in more than a decade. BYU head coach Kalani Sitake spoke about the years that we haven't had a rivalry game.
You miss it, so now that it's back, it's going to be a lot of fun.
With Utah looking to play spoiler to BYU's perfect record, Utah head coach Kyle Whittingham says they need to approach this like any other game.
We're in desperate need of a win. There's no doubt about that.
A Utes win would end a 4-game losing streak. A BYU win would keep the Cougars alone at the top of the Big 12 standings. Kickoff is 8:15 Saturday night. Live Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
The presidents of BYU and Utah are asking fans to keep the rivalry civil ahead of the big game. KSL News Radio's Michael Commit is live with more. Michael?
Amanda, both President Taylor Randall and C. Shane Reese are pushing the Rivalry Rights Initiative, which is calling on Utes and Cougar fans to keep it competitive, but don't let it get toxic. They're hoping fans will take their spirit and pour it into serving the community, with both schools running a food drive at Smith's locations in Salt Lake and Utah counties. And both presidents shared their message online.
Remember, what happens off the field matters just as much as the score.
In the end, that's what makes you a real fan.
Well, that and having Utah Man played at your funeral.
Or Rise and Shout.
Oh, come on.
Reporting live, Michael Commit, KSL News Radio.
Hey, the college basketball regular season gets underway today. The Utes are at home playing Alcorn State tonight. Weber State will host Northwest Indian College. BYU hosts Central Arkansas tomorrow. Utah State opens their season on Wednesday, and they will also take on Alcorn State.
There was a college football brawl this weekend that started over a seat mix-up in the stands. It ended with a fan being tased and an officer caught on camera throwing punches.
The Jacksonville Sheriff's Office says it is reviewing multiple violent altercations between police and fans at the Georgia-Florida game Saturday. Struggle in the fourth quarter between 3 officers and at least 2 fans. Then, 2 officers appear to start punching the fan.
ABC's Rhiannon Alley reporting.
Let's get that first look traffic here and go back to Andy Farnsworth.
Right now, we've got traffic on I-15 still looking good, but had a report of a crash show up on Bangeter Highway near 2400 South and a possible auto pedestrian crash at the intersection of 6200 South, 3200 West, right at the top of the hill in West Jordan. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL weather now with Matt Johnson. Today is dry and cold, but there's a weak storm arriving tomorrow.
Go rain, snow showers tomorrow, high of 45. We may pick up 1/10 of an inch of water from this system. It is not much. What it will do is reinforce the cold air for the rest of the work week with highs in the low to mid 40s. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, dry skies. Weekend has 50s in store.
Today's high will only be 47 degrees.
Nearly a dozen people are being treated for injuries after tornadoes took out homes and wiped out power near Oklahoma City.
At least 30,000 power outages were reported. Oklahoma's governor issuing an emergency declaration for 6 counties. The state now making sure that polling stations are up and running for Election Day tomorrow.
We are prioritizing with our utilities to make sure that that power is up at those polling stations.
The governor says if any issues are reported at polling places tomorrow, voters will be rerouted to other locations to cast their ballots.
That's ABC's Allison Cossack.
Dozens of homes have been evacuated near Austin, Texas because of a wildfire. Will Sellers had to leave his house and is worried about the dogs and goats he left behind.
I was a little frustrated that they wouldn't let me through because it's less than a mile up the road from here.
The fire has burned over 400 acres.
A local Instagram page asked people to donate money to help the West Valley Animal Shelter buy more food, and people stepped up.
That some dogs were only getting fed once a day, which was pretty surprising to hear. And once she said that, I knew that we needed to kind of figure out how we could help.
Brandy Chenoweth runs the Dogs of Salt Lake City account, which features her own dog, Scout. Her followers stepped up and donated $10,000 in a single day.
That's just brilliant.
Yep.
I love that. We have normal travel times this morning. If you're headed out to the car right now, we'll check the Monday morning commute just ahead.
Join your friends who rely on KSL each morning for the fastest routes to work and school.
I am listening for the traffic.
I'll always know if somebody's going to be late to work.
That's often what's on when I'm driving.
Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 9s.
On KSL News Radio.
I'm Utah Tax Attorney Jordan Wilcox. Listen to what actual clients have had to say about working with us.
I'm Paul. I'm a contractor. I had a tax problem that was pretty significant. Needed some help with the IRS. I had prepared my taxes for a few years, but when I went to file them, I didn't have any money to pay those taxes. And so I just filed the returns in my drawer and went about my business, and about 3 years went by when I did that, and pretty soon I owed $102,000. And I met with Jordan, and we talked about the hole I dug myself into. And from start to finish, the process was encouraging, supportive, saved me about $80,000, $102,000 to $22,000. No complaints.
Hi, I'm Jordan Wilcox. You need a tax attorney that's not afraid to fight for you. Visit taxhelput.com to schedule your free consultation.
The relief is immeasurable.
That's taxhelput.com.
Any Hour Services can help you make sure your furnace keeps you warm this winter. Whether you need a tune-up, a repair, or a second opinion about replacing it, call Any Hour Services or visit anyhourservices.com.
Seems like all this artificial intelligence stuff stirs up the age-old debate of man versus machine. Hi, it's Dan from the Good Feet store, and let me ask you, would you let a robot cut your hair? Would you rely on an app to teach a kid to ride a two-wheeler? Let's face it, some things require the human touch. People come to us seeking a solution to foot, leg, and back pain after trying all kinds of things recommended by in-store machines or website blurbs. An impersonal, generic approach to solving a problem that's unique to you. No wonder they usually don't work. At the Good Feet store, you'll meet with an arch support specialist who will take the time to learn about your needs, your feet, your lifestyle, and then fit you from over 300 models and sizes of arch supports, designed for pain relief, better balance, and more comfort. See what we can do for you with a free fitting. Just stop in or schedule an appointment. With over 200 stores, there's likely one near you. Find yours at goodfeet.com.
The Good Feet store. Walk-ins welcome, or visit goodfeet.com for more information.
Just a quick reminder that we'll have in-depth election night coverage starting at 6 o'clock tomorrow night, and of course continuing for as long as it takes to get results, which could go way beyond tomorrow night. Keep it here on KSL.
6:39, traffic and weather together, brought to you by Sinclair's Dino Pay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon, Andy.
Well, I-15's still a little bit heavy as you come up past 7200 South in Midvale, but otherwise looks good from Draper to downtown. It's Bangor that's got some slowing through West Valley, Lake Park Boulevard up to the 201 freeway where we've got a crash at 2400 South. And right now, eastbound traffic on 6200 South is being diverted at 3200 West. As you come up from Bangor, heading in the direction of Redwood Road, a lot of people do that in West Jordan. You're going to have to turn on to 3200 West because of an auto pedestrian crash. Heather?
And we still have a crash being cleared in Marriott-Slaterville. This is on 2000 West. It is southbound for the most part between 1200 and 1100 North. Now, traffic can get through there, but this crash has been in play for several hours now, so I don't know how long those lanes will be blocked. Most of your traffic, though, is southbound I-15, and you're still 30 minutes or less between Ogden and Salt Lake with some pretty heavy pockets moving between Clearfield and Centerville. Eric.
Getting a little bit busier now on SR 36 in Tooele County, approaching Lake Point and the entrance onto I-80. The rest of the path from Tooele up to Lake Point looks good, though I-15 in Utah County is still at a normal pace, 30-minute drive from Santaquin to Point of the Mountain View Corridor as it approaches, if you're on Mountain View Corridor northbound from SR 73, as you approach Redwood Road, expect that to be a little bit slow too. Is your home ready for the holidays? Get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $119 and take 20% off upholstery cleaning by booking online anytime at zerores.com. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
Mostly sunny today with a high of 47 degrees. Overnight, 35 with increasing clouds. Tomorrow, shallow cold front, 45 the high, and a chance for some rain-snow showers. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
30 degrees in downtown Salt Lake City.
ABC Stephen Portnoy is following the Trump campaign with just a day to go before the election day. We'll check in with Stephen just ahead on KSL News Radio.
First of all, it is time to check in with Jeff Kaplan and time for his Minute of News.
They say the American dream is dead. Do you remember a couple of years ago, a guy who worked at a Burger King for 27 years and never missed a day of work? If you ever flew to Vegas in the last 3 decades, you might have munched on fries dropped into the bubbling oil by Kevin Ford. He was a cook at the BK at the Vegas airport every dang day, never once calling in sick, not a single mental health day. But how do you accomplish this? Kevin told the Today Show.
I don't know how. I don't know. Maybe I'm a robot. I don't know how I did it.
And as he worked on his 27th anniversary with the company, the penny-pinching franchise owner gave Kevin a movie ticket and a Starbucks cup for 27 sterling years of perfect service. Kevin's daughter was infuriated by the disrespect. You might remember this, 2022. She began a GoFundMe for her dad.
I love my dad more than I can ever put into words, and I didn't have high expectations. Honestly, I mean, the original goal was $200.
That GoFundMe raised $456,000. And since then, Kevin's purchased a humble house for $177,000. He says, "I know it's not a mansion, but it's mine." And while it's hard to believe, he still works at that Burger King.
I'm taking what they're giving because I'm working for a living.
But as he approaches his 30th anniversary next May, Kevin has finally told his bosses that's going to be it because he used some of the money you donated to buy a food truck. It cost him $20,000. Now he and his daughter, who was trained at a French culinary school, will cook burgers. Got to stick with what you know. And what we know is that an underappreciated guy toiling at a fast food joint now becomes an entrepreneur thanks to his thriftiness, grit, persistence, and let's face it, in 2024, it took the generous help of strangers for one guy to get a shot at the American dream.
Jeff Kaplan's Minute of News, only on KSL News Radio.
We've been telling you guys about how Master Electrical Services has joined Mountain Home Services. But you want to talk about one-stop shopping. Mountain Home Services has it all right now.
That's right. Not only do they do your electrical and your HVAC needs, but now let's add fireplaces to the mix.
I don't know anyone in the world that loves a fireplace, a gas fireplace like my mother. In the summer, she will fire it up. She loves it so much. And now Mountain Home Services can take care of all of this for you and pick out a beautiful fireplace for your house.
It all comes with their upfront pricing guarantee, which means there are no hidden fees and 100% satisfaction guaranteed.
And they will install. Mountain Home Services, this isn't going to be like some third party that comes into your house. You're going to get the same expertise that Mountain Home Services has always offered. Again, this is the company that we trust, and so can you.
Find them online at mountainhomeutah.com. That's mountainhomeutah.com.
Or give them a call at 801-543-2222. That's 801-543-2222.
KSL News Time, 6:45. The three things you need to know this hour. First,
Rivalry Week is back in the Beehive State. BYU and Utah football now gearing up for their first meeting in 3 years. I'm KSL News Radio's Adam Small.
Second, today is the last day to get mail-in ballots postmarked here in Utah.
Cold weather.
Third, it's traffic and weather together.
Got delays over on Banketer Highway because of a crash to the right between 27 and 2400 South in West Valley. And we've got a eastbound lane blockage, in fact, both lanes, 6200 South at 3200 West. Those of you who take 62 between Banketer and Redwood are going to have to divert onto 3200 West. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
Cold weather for most of this week and a small little storm tomorrow. I'm Matt Johnson.
Right now, 32 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
Last-minute campaigning already underway this morning. Let's check in with ABC News.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. Vice President Kamala Harris will spend this last full day ahead of the election in just one state, Pennsylvania. ABC's Karen Travers with a rundown.
She'll start her day meeting with hundreds of volunteers who are heading out to knock on doors to get out the vote. Next, she makes 2 stops aimed at Latino voters, specifically Puerto Ricans. Her campaign seeing an opening among this voting group after the racist comments by a comedian at a Trump rally last week. Harris finishes her night with what are expected to be 2 massive concert rallies, first in Pittsburgh, then in Philadelphia.
As for Donald Trump, he will also be in Pennsylvania today in both Reading and Pittsburgh. He'll also hold rallies in North Carolina and in Michigan. The final ABC News Ipsos poll of likely voters before the election has it a 3-point race. Inside the margin of error, Kamala Harris at 49% and Donald Trump at 46%. He wrote film and TV scores, produced Michael Jackson's Thriller and the We Are the World event, and collaborated with hundreds of musicians. Quincy Jones has died at the age of 91. This is ABC News.
And as you just heard, former President Donald Trump hitting several battleground states in this last day of campaigning.
ABC News national correspondent Stephen Portnoy joins us live. What's the plan for the former president, Stephen?
It's a busy day, Amanda and Tim. The former president has 4 events on his calendar on this final day of the campaign. He bounces from Raleigh, North Carolina this morning, a state that he's put a lot of emphasis on. He won it by a percentage point 4 years ago, needs to hold it. So he rallies in Raleigh this morning. Then he's got 2 stops in Pennsylvania, another must-win state for Trump and for Harris. He's got an event in Reading in the east and then Pittsburgh in the west. And then finally tonight, the last election eve rally of Donald Trump's political life in what has become something of a Trump campaign tradition in Grand Rapids, Michigan. That's where he wrapped up his campaign in 2016 and in 2020. His final rally in Grand Rapids is at 10:30 Eastern Time tonight.
Hard to imagine there aren't any undecideds out there, but I guess at this point, Stephen, they just don't want to leave any rocks unturned.
Well, of course, and look, you want to demonstrate to the country, both campaigns do, that you're in it to win it to the final hours, that you're working really hard to motivate every single one of your supporters, and undoubtedly you are. Look, nearly 80 million people have already voted in this election, and that suggests, based on past performance of the country in terms of how many people vote, that more than half of the people have already cast their ballots. And so now, in these final 36 hours, it's about motivating those people who have not yet cast their ballots to do it, and motivating your own supporters to tell your friends and relatives to go out and vote.
Do you know what the former president will be doing on Election Day itself?
He's going to be spending time in South Florida. He's going to be at Mar-a-Lago. He's going to vote tomorrow in Palm Beach County, Florida. And then he's going to be sitting and watching the returns at Mar-a-Lago. He spoke yesterday with my colleague Jonathan Karl, our chief Washington correspondent. And he told John that there is a chance he might not win, which is sort of a rare admission from Trump. He believes he's running ahead of Harris. But he said, quote, "You could lose. Bad things could happen."
All right, Stephen, thanks for your coverage this morning. ABC News national correspondent Stephen Portnoy in Washington this morning on the In-Depth at 15 and 45. 6:49, traffic and weather together, brought to you by Sinclair's Dino Pay app. Save up to 20 cents a gallon. Andy, that intersection, Benyon Boulevard, that's out by us. Have they got that cleared up yet?
Yeah, they just barely opened up the eastbound lanes. There was an auto pedestrian crash at that intersection. This is the intersection with the water tanks at 6200 South, 3200 West. So now eastbound can go from Bangerter directly over to Redwood, where they were being diverted for a few minutes. We've also got a crash on Bangerter Highway northbound just after 2700 South. And right now, I don't know if it's because the light's red or what's going on, but only a few cars are going past the crash itself. I-15 already seeing a little bit of slowing between 53rd and 45th South. Heather?
Looks like all of 2000 West has been shut down, both northbound and southbound between 1100 and 1200 North. They're doing still more cleanup on this crash up in Marriott-Slaterville. So you're going to have to find an alternate route. Right now, everyone is flipping U-turns as they approach this crash area where you have all the flashing lights. So there's not a lot of options in that area. Unfortunately, you're just going to have to plan for about double or maybe even triple your commute time if you typically take 2000 West through Marriott-Slaterville. Otherwise, you're going to have a good drive on all the freeways right now up through Weber and Davis counties. Eric?
Busiest spot in Utah County appears to be Mountain View Corridor northbound from SR 73 up to Redwood Road. Now, once you get past that intersection and Mountain View turns into 2100 North, expect a little bit of delay between Triumph Boulevard eastbound and the I-80 entrance ramps, but not too bad so far. I-15 throughout Utah County is looking good. Getting into Park City at this early juncture, no problems of heading south from I-80 on 224, or if you're westbound Kearns Boulevard, heading into town from US 40. Step into the magic of Christmas's past, whether decorating for a grand Christmas celebration or adding a few special touches. Visit the J&J Garden Center in Layton. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast. We've got a few days in a row here with highs 10 below the normal. Cold today, 47, mostly sunny. 45 tomorrow with a shallow cold front, bringing in a chance for some rain snow showers. Down to 43 for a high on Wednesday, mostly sunny. Full-on sunshine, 44 on Thursday. Friday and Saturday, mid-40s, low 50s. We go partly cloudy on Sunday, 54. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
And right now, 32 degrees in the 7-day forecast brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful.
We're going to look at money news coming up here in just a minute, see how the markets are getting the morning started. KSL News Time, 6:52.
Life can feel hard or overwhelming sometimes, but you don't have to face things alone. Getting help for yourself or someone you're worried about starts with a call or text to 988, where you always have someone to talk to, someone to help you, and somewhere safe to go. 988-UTAH is here for anyone experiencing mental health challenges or emotional distress. 988-UTAH can even help you navigate how to support your struggling loved ones. Whether you're struggling with anxiety, depression, or suicidal thoughts, trained professionals are ready to listen and provide free, confidential support 24/7. Utah, Don't hesitate to call or text 988 for you or someone you care about. The caring staff at 988 Utah can connect you to the right resources. Learn more at 988.utah.gov.
Hi, I'm Nate Orchard, the mayor of Sac Lake City with Advanced Window Products.
And I'm Jake, the other guy. Are you aware of the latest technology in replacement windows?
Upgrade to affordable, energy-efficient windows and save on your utility bills.
Right now, get $2,500 off when you purchase 10 windows or more.
That's $2,500 in savings.
Call us today at 801-850-9100 or visit advancedwindows.com.
Advanced Window Products, Utah's window experts.
I'm Michelle Quist, and I'm running for Attorney General. For too long, the AG's office has been bogged down by scandals and partisan politics. Utah deserves an independent Attorney General focused on restoring trust and integrity. I'm an experienced litigator and appellate lawyer, and I believe politics have no place in law enforcement. Let's bring transparency and accountability back to the Attorney General's office. I'm Michelle Quist, asking for your vote by November 5th.
Paid for by Michelle Quist for Attorney General.
Watching Utah's Money, brought to you by Trajan Wealth, your trusted local fiduciary advisors, TrajanWealth.com. Alcohol sales dropping across America for the first time in years. Drink analysis from IWSR found that overall sales fell 3% in the first 7 months of the year. The decline comes after a huge boost brought by the pandemic.
Isn't that a good trend to see people buying less alcohol in general? That's just a good trend. Intel is getting kicked out of the Dow. The company is losing its spot to NVIDIA. The struggling chipmaker was one of the first two technology firms to be included in the index. Intel shares have dropped 54% this year.
Kind of surprised they put NVIDIA on there because it's so volatile. It'll just make massive increases and then drop again.
I don't know what the measurement is for eligibility.
Yeah, I don't know. The buy now, pay later market is expanding. Affirm is launching in the UK, its first market outside of North America. But UK lawmakers aren't happy about it, saying it encourages impulse buying and normalizes debt.
The futures markets are flat this morning. Dow futures off just 23, which is just a fraction. S&P up 5, which is just about 0.1%, and the Nasdaq futures up 6, which is a fraction.
We have earlier than usual slowing northbound on I-15 from the South Interchange all the way to 4500 South in Murray. And stop and go now on Bangerter. There's something going on the right-hand emergency lane. We'll check that when we come back. It can be really hard to figure out how much home you can afford. At least it used to be until our friends at UCCU came up with a great idea.
It's Utah Community Credit Union's free home affordability tool. It makes it so easy to know exactly how much home you can afford while you shop for a home.
It instantly shows you your estimated monthly mortgage payment based on the current interest rates. And, of course, you plug in some personal information about there. And you can make slight adjustments to it, like your down payment, the income, the price of the home, and the tool will take care of those changes and how they impact your mortgage payment.
And it does all of this without impacting your credit score at all. And that's great because what really distinguishes this tool is that it can explore different home buying scenarios.
You may not know that UCCU is the #1 mortgage provider in the community. And by the way, this doesn't impact your pocketbook either because it's a free tool designed to help you.
UCCU, home buying experts. You can contact them by phone, email, text, or in person.
UCCU, you're going to love where you bank. This portion of the news brought to you by UCCU's home affordability tool. Know exactly how much home you can afford. UCCU, love where you bank.
Don't you deserve health care you can count on? Well, you can count on United Healthcare with Medicare plans that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. You can enjoy reliable coverage and low out-of-pocket costs with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. United Healthcare Medicare Advantage plans. Made for Utah, trusted everywhere. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today.
Food brings people together, but for many families, figuring out where their next meal is coming from is a challenge. We can use your help by participating in Macy's annual Harvest of Hope food drive to benefit the Utah Food Bank. Now through November 30th, purchase a prepackaged bag of food at any Macy's store or donate online at Macys.com. Together, we can make a difference in our communities. From Macy's and KSL News Radio.
Question: what will you find on all over-the-counter or OTC medicine packages to help you choose the right drug and use it safely? The answer: the drug facts label. This label lists the medicine's active ingredients and purpose, how much to take, and warnings you should know before using it. Remember, even OTC medicines you buy without a prescription can cause side effects you don't want. So follow the information listed on the drug facts label. For more information, visit fda.gov/drug facts label. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
6:59, traffic and weather together, brought to you by Sinclair's DinoPay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. And back over to you, Andy.
Well, Amanda, got another crash reported on 6200 South. This one's supposed to be a little bit closer to Bangerter Highway in West Jordan, although at this point I don't see any slowdowns. Well, actually, I still see some coming up the hill from when we had the crash. But as you head over towards Redwood, things do look a lot better. I-15's got some heavy and slow spots between 7200 and it looks like about 5300 South. And we still have the crash on Bangerter Highway northbound right after 2700 South, causing a little bit of delay. Heather?
No delays right now in Weber and Davis County on the freeways. You're going to have good speeds. I-84 through the mountains to and from Morgan. Same story, US 89 Legacy. Most of the traffic remains southbound 15 from Ogden to Salt Lake. Eric?
I-80 is looking pretty good going out to Park City, although we have heard there might be a slowdown somewhere in the canyon to clean up some debris. We'll keep an eye on that and pass it along to you when we find out. I-15 looks good in Utah County. That's a northbound trek of 24 minutes from Spanish Fork up to Point of the Mountain. The busiest portion of the county still remains northbound on Mountain View Corridor from SR 73 up to Redwood Road, and then a little bit on 2100 North at the freeway entrance over past Triumph Boulevard over to I-15. For a top quality kitchen or bath with top quality craftsmanship, call 3-Day Kitchen and Bath. They're always on time with no delays and meet all deadlines. Visit 3daykitchen.com. I'm Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
47 today, a return of rain and even snow tomorrow, and we'll lose a couple of degrees for a high, but right now 30 in Salt Lake City with clear skies.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
It's 7 o'clock on Utah's Morning News. Good morning, I'm Tim Hughes.
And I'm Amanda Dixon. KSL's top story on the 7 o'clock report.
Today is the last day ballots can be sent through the mail.
Ballots need to be postmarked before the end of the day. KSL News Radio's Adam Small begins our live team coverage, Your Voice, Your Vote 2024, with a rundown of how to make sure your vote is counted. Adam?
Well, Amanda, we're now at the point where if you want to send your ballot through the Postal Service, dropping it in a mailbox on your way out to work isn't really your best option, since there's no guarantee it'll be postmarked before the end of the day. Now, a county clerk in a previous conversation told me if you are dead set on sending your ballot back in the mail, physically take your ballot inside a post office today and even ask a worker there if they'd be willing to stamp it right then and there for you. But remember, if you choose to instead leave your ballot in a drop box, you have until 8 o'clock tomorrow night, which could give you a little bit more time. Just make sure that you have your ballot signed and it has your contact information. Live Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
If you haven't already registered for the election, you can still register on Election Day. KSL News Radio's Michael Commit joins us live to explain how and continues our live team coverage. Your Voice, Your Vote 2024. Michael?
Well, Tim, Utah is one of the states that allows same-day registration and voting. So in case you missed the deadline to register a few weeks back, you can still register today and even tomorrow in person, but you need to provide 2 forms of ID to prove your identity and your residence. These can be your driver's license, a passport, a state ID, or a tribal or military ID card, or you can use non-photo IDs like a birth certificate, a social security card, state hunting or fishing license, or a current vehicle registration. Reporting live, Michael Commit, KSL News Radio.
KSL's top national stories this hour. The presidential candidates are holding a blitz of rallies in battleground states. Former President Trump spoke to crowds in Georgia over the weekend.
We stand on the verge of the 4 greatest years in American history. You watch. It's going to be so good. It's going to be so much fun. It'll be nasty a little bit at times, and maybe at the beginning in particular, but it's going to be something.
Here is Vice President Harris speaking to a crowd in Michigan.
We have momentum. It is on our side. Can you feel it?
ABC reports around 77 million Americans have voted early.
Be sure to stay with KSL News Radio through the election to get the latest breaking news, both on air and at KSLNewsRadio.com. We will have special election night coverage starting at 6 tomorrow night and special coverage Wednesday morning, of course, here with the latest results.
Iran is ramping up its threats against Israel this morning.
The Supreme Leader now promising a teeth-breaking response to Israel and the United States after Israel targeted military sites in Iran late last month. And in another reminder of really how widespread this conflict is becoming, Israel, for the first time since the start of the war, announcing they carried out a ground raid into Syria in recent months, seizing a Syrian citizen involved in Iranian networks.
ABC's Britt Clennett reporting from the Middle East.
The body of a missing 19-year-old woman was found near Farmington Canyon over the weekend. Police and volunteers searched for Mia Casto after she was last seen Friday when she appeared at Brad McDonald's home. He tells KSL-TV he had no idea who she was.
We sort of realized that this stranger had just walked into our house. So we talked to her for a minute and asked her what she was doing and who she was here to see. And you could tell she was very confused. She didn't really know what was going on.
McDonald says he called police after Casto left his home and walked into the woods. Searchers found her body yesterday afternoon.
A missing Cedar City man was also found dead over the weekend. Police say Eduardo Gutierrez Nava died after a motorcycle crash on State Route 14 just east of Cedar City. Investigators believe he lost control of the bike. No other vehicles were involved.
Turkeys and pigs are the next livestock to watch after avian flu turned up in northern Utah's chickens and dairy cows. Here's KSL News Radio's Tammy Kikuchi.
Avian flu is very contagious and can be very deadly for turkeys. State veterinarian Dan Christensen says the virus is spread by wild migratory waterfowl, but the flyover season may be done, making it more safe for turkeys in central Utah. But avian flu is emerging in pigs in Oregon. Dr. Christensen says it's being watched closely.
We haven't changed our stance with our swine industry yet in Utah because it is so new and emerging right now.
Dr. Christensen says they're waiting to get better information before making any recommendations to the pig farms in Utah. Tammy Kikuchi, KSL News Radio.
First look traffic on the 7 o'clock report, and here is Andy Farnsworth.
And right now, travel on I-15 slowing a little bit in Murray as you go up past 5300 South. We haven't had any southbound delay yet from Ogden to Salt Lake. Bangerter is backed up because of a crash as you go up in West Valley near the 21st South Freeway. And some debris cleanup on I-80 slowing traffic down trying to go from Lambs Canyon towards Parley Summit. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
Striking Boeing workers will vote today on the company's latest contract offer. The offer includes a 38% pay raise over 4 years, inching closer to the union's original demand of 40%. This has been the costliest strike for the U.S. economy this century. Analysts say it's putting a dent in the jobs report and affecting global travel as airlines wait for new planes.
A Provo doctor accused of assaulting at least 94 Utah County women is expected in court today. David Broadbent, who was an OBGYN, is accused of sexually assaulting women during medical treatment. This will be his first hearing since criminal charges were filed against him.
A woman is dead. 2 others are injured after a crash in Taylorsville. Police say the woman lost control of the car, which then rolled and hit a cinder block wall. The driver died at the scene. The 2 passengers were ejected from the car and was taken to the hospital with serious injuries.
6 people are behind bars after a bar fight in Salt Lake City over the weekend. It happened just after midnight on Saturday around 17th South and Main Street. Investigators say as many as 40 people were involved and 2 officers were hurt during the fight.
Well, it's rivalry week here in the state. BYU making the trip to Salt Lake City Saturday night to face the Utes for the first time as conference foes in more than a decade. We'll have more on the big game live at the bottom of the hour, but for now, KSL sports anchor Jeremiah Jensen has a recap, that is, of how locals did in the NFL this weekend.
Taysom Hill found the end zone for the 41st time in his NFL career.
To his left, go to the end zone, and he's in. Touchdown, Saints.
A 7-yard touchdown run, and the Saints lost to the Panthers. He had 5 carries for 19 yards and 4 catches for 41 yards. Puka Nacua, playing with a knee injury, had 1 catch for 11 yards when he was ejected from the game just before halftime for throwing a punch at another player. Jordan Love battled a groin injury and the elements at Lambeau Field. 23 of 39 for 273 yards, no touchdowns, 1 interception, and the Packers lost to the Lions. Vinay Sewell made a key block on a touchdown run by Jahmyr Gibbs, and the Lions win over the Packers.
There's a lot more locals making big plays in the NFL, and you can read about them at KSLSports.com.
Real Salt Lake season is over. They got knocked out of the playoffs by Minnesota after a second straight penalty shootout that did not go their way. RSL has now lost in the first round for 3 straight seasons.
I hate to say that the Jazz season is over before it even gets started.
Man, have we ever gone this long without a win in a season?
I don't know. To start the season, that's a good question, but they're still struggling. They've now lost their first 6 games and are the only team in the NBA without a win this year. The Jazz will be in Chicago tonight, taking on the Bulls, looking to avoid falling 0-7.
A teen in Park City is raising money to help his friend and communities hit hard by flooding in Spain. KSL TV's Brianna Chavez met with Jansen Jacobson, who became close friends with a Spanish exchange student from a town destroyed by the floods.
Despite being thousands of miles away,
if it were up to me, I would be out there in the city helping them.
Jansen decided to start a fundraiser to help his friend and the town he's grown to love.
Anything that you saw and were there and loved, just gone.
Pablo says he's grateful for his friend's support.
I'm just thankful. I don't have words for this friend and this community of Park City and Utah.
You can learn more about the fundraiser on KSL TV's website.
7:09, time for a look at the drive. Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Sinclair's Dino Pay App. Save up to 20 cents a gallon. Where are we starting, Andy?
Well, we've got slowdowns on the west side. Bangor, a couple of crashes right by each other, going from 2700 to 2400 south right before the 201 freeway. So that part of West Valley is pretty backed up on Bangor. We've also got Mountain View delays now at 3500 south. We had some slowing on I-15 as you headed through Murray, but that has cleared up at the moment. Heather?
No slowdowns yet. Southbound I-15 between Ogden and Salt Lake, but you have some very heavy pockets between Clearfield and Centerville. That's usually where we'll see slowdowns first. Then Legacy Parkway, the West Side Belt are good options if you're trying to get to the airport this morning. Most of the city streets are in pretty good shape, but you still have the crash cleanup going on in Marriott-Slaterville on 2000 West near 1200 North. Eric.
Well, things are back to normal now. Eastbound I-80 just past the exit to Lambs Canyon Road. We did have a UHP conducted slowdown to remove some debris off the road, but now that and one car that seemed to be disabled, that's all moved all along, and you're off to a good start out to Park City if that's where you're going this morning. I-15 in Utah County looking good, and SR-36 in Tooele County not seeing any major problems as you head up towards I-80. Attention, commercial property managers and business owners. Snow doesn't have a campaign manager, but you do. Choose Go Pave Utah to clear your lot and win the winter. GoPaveUtah.com. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL hourly forecast. Temperatures in the low 30s. Some of us upper 20s along the Wasatch Front at 7 a.m. with clear skies. Into the lunch hour, sunshine, 43 the temperature, and a light northwest breeze. Into the afternoon, 47 the high, mostly sunny, with a chance for rain snow showers tomorrow. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
It's freezing out there. I mean, really, 32 degrees.
Coming up in a moment, we'll speak with Steve Roberts about, I wonder whether this election will come down to one state, like it did, 24 years ago.
I don't know.
Florida. You remember, of course, the Bush-Gore election. That came down to 537 votes in one state.
And hanging chads.
I remember that.
Crazy.
We'll talk to Steve coming up on KSL.
Well, call it a vertical marathon. More than 2,000 people from around the world converged on Chicago's Willis Tower Sunday to climb the stairs of the world's 12th tallest building. The stair climb is a fundraiser for a rehab center, and this former patient took part.
In 2009, I had an accident, 3 weeks in Christ Hospital in a coma. When I came out of the coma, I was transferred to Shirley Ryan. Inpatient a month, outpatient 5 months. And I was back to work and did the first Shirley Ryan in November of that same year.
Look at this. The event raised more than $1 million.
Oh, wow. A titan of the music industry has passed away. Quincy Jones died at age 91, surrounded by his family in his Bel Air home.
Quincy Jones will be remembered as a legendary music producer, record company executive, and humanitarian. Jones produced the soundtrack to Jackson's blockbuster Thriller album, which sold more than 100 million records worldwide. He also became the most Grammy-nominated artist ever, with 79 nods and 27 wins. Quincy Jones was considered to be one of the greatest minds in music and television history. Ike Ajachi, ABC News, Washington, D.C.
Trending this hour in the 7 o'clock report, a man in Idaho put his color coding skills to the test. He broke the world record by sorting 17.5 ounces of peanut M&Ms by color in just 57 seconds and 57.78 seconds.
Brat was the word of the summer. Collins Dictionary declared Brat, the title of pop singer Charlie's, what is that album? Is that XCX? XCX is not the number that represents. Okay. As the 2024 Song of the Summer, it's defined as characterized by a confident, independent, and hedonistic attitude.
Hey, an anti-hero remained at the top of the box office over the weekend.
Venom: The Last Dance repeated in the #1 spot, easing about 50% with $26 million. That's not a terrible hold, but the threequel is nowhere near its predecessors.
How fast do you think you can get that thing to go without killing it?
Only one way to find out. Fortunately for Sony, the film is playing well internationally, sailing past $300 million worldwide.
You can call me Roz.
The beloved family flick The Wild Robot was goosed back into second place, gaining in box office from last week with $7.5 million.
Something really crazy is happening to me. I keep seeing his face everywhere.
In third place was Smile 2 with $6.8 million. The weekend after Halloween helped this one stay in the top 3. I'm Kevin Carr.
You contributed to the Conclave take at the box office, didn't you?
Okay, we went to see Conclave over the weekend. It's a masterpiece. Tim, it's one of the most beautiful movies I've ever seen. I mean, just the shots are so beautiful.
Well, the cast is
but
amazing,
the cast, I mean, Ralph Fiennes he's extraordinary in this movie. And it has great tension, and it has a twist at the end you will not see coming.
I'm looking forward to seeing it.
You're going to love it.
I was surprised it didn't do better at the box office.
I wonder why.
Box office over the week. I just think people don't want something so serious.
Yeah.
They're looking for something to turn their brains off on.
There are uplifting messages inside this movie, too, yeah.
All right, so check that one out. KSL News Time, 7:15. The 3 things you need to know this hour. First,
you can still register to vote in person before the election, but you'll need 2 forms of identification to do so. I'm KSL News Radio's Michael Commit.
Second, the body of a missing 19-year-old woman was found near Farmington Canyon over the weekend.
Third, it's traffic and weather together.
And right now, watching I-15, it's still running smooth into and out of Salt Lake. You've got delays on Bangerter Highway in West Valley because of a crash. The I-80 slowdowns because of debris we had near Lambs Canyon appear to have cleared now, though. That's good news. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
Mostly sunny skies today, but cold with highs in the 40s. I'm Matt Johnson.
And right now it's 32 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
Campaign season winding down today. Let's get the latest from ABC News.
From ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. Kamala Harris will spend this final day before the 2024 election in just one state, Pennsylvania. Donald Trump will spend it there, in North Carolina and in Michigan, proving once again how vitally important those handful of swing states are. ABC national correspondent Stephen Portnoy has more on what voters are telling us in our final poll before Election Day.
The ABC News Ipsos poll of likely voters nationwide shows a race inside the survey's margin of error. Kamala Harris at 49%, Donald Trump at 46%. 4 in 10 voters say they're not as well off financially as they were when Joe Biden took office. 8 in 10 Trump supporters say so, but just 8% of Harris supporters agree. 3/4 of likely voters say the country's now on the wrong track, including 98% of Trump supporters and half of those backing Harris.
78 million Americans have already cast their ballots. More dangerous weather across Oklahoma today following a line of tornadoes around Oklahoma City. Governor Kevin Stitt.
We've got more storms coming, so don't rely on the sirens. Make sure you're watching your news and your cell phones, taking cover when you can.
Music legend Quincy Jones has died. He worked with hundreds of musicians throughout his career. ABC's Dave Packer with more on one of the many charity projects he also spearheaded.
In 1985, Jones used his influence to gather together a who's who of performers to record We Are the World, a charity single that raised money for victims of Ethiopia's famine.
Back on the block,
Jones' own release, Back on the Block, won Album of the Year at the 1990 Grammy Awards. By the early 21st century, Quincy Jones had won more than 25 Grammy Awards, and in 2013, Jones was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Dave Packer, ABC News.
Machinists at Boeing vote today on the company's latest proposal. This is ABC News.
And as you just heard, former President Donald Trump, Vice President Kamala Harris are neck and neck, both making gains as we head into Election Day tomorrow.
ABC News political analyst Steve Roberts joins us live. Do you think this is going to come down to one state, Steve?
It's entirely possible. Because as Stephen Portnoy just reported, Harris is going to be in Pennsylvania the entire day today. On Saturday Night Live, when she appeared briefly with the actress Maya Rudolph, who plays her on that show, Harris turned to Rudolph and said, "You don't vote in Pennsylvania, do you?" Which was an indication of how important that state is. And it's clear from the polls that Trump has narrowed Harris's lead in that state, and everybody now thinks it's dead even. The other number that Stephen mentioned that I think is extremely important is that 74% who think the country's headed in the wrong direction. This has been the basic defining characteristic of this election from day one. The unhappiness of Americans with inflation, the price of gas and groceries, and beyond that, kind of a lingering aftermath, a lingering hangover from COVID that has just darkened the national mood. It helped defeat Trump 4 years ago, and it's now working to his advantage because when it's a change election, it's much better to be the challenger. Having said that, there are some notes of encouragement for Harris. One is that the electorate is close to 54% female, and she clearly has enormous support among women, and that's a very positive sign. New York Times also reports that among people who are deciding very late, they're breaking for Harris. That's exactly what helped Trump win 8 years ago. The polls did not pick up that final surge of emotion of a certain number of people saying, "I just can't stand Hillary Clinton. I'm going to try something new." And if that is happening for Harris, that could help counteract that dense gloom that has hung over this country now for several years.
The gender split is really something in this race, but it's dangerous to assume that all women are voting for Harris and all men are voting for Trump, isn't it?
Well, of course. I mean, we're talking about margins here, but the margins are enormous. I mean, women are voting for Harris, 12, 15%, and the percentage for men voting for Trump is similar. When you're talking about an election that is so finely calibrated, let's remember the last two elections have been extremely close. And I saw a stunning statistic this morning. I looked at the average of national polls compiled by the website 538, very highly qualified independent polling company. Trump was at 46.9% in the national averages. What did he get 4 years ago? 46.9%. Oh, wow. Exactly the same figure down to the decimal point. So when things are so closely divided, a shift along, it doesn't have to be huge numbers of women or huge numbers of men, just a marginal shift can make all the difference.
We'll follow it with your help, Steve. Thank you, Steve Roberts with us on the In-Depth at 15 and 45. Let's check traffic and weather together. Brought to you by Sinclair's DinoPay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. And back over to you, Andy.
Amanda, our slowdowns have been on city streets more than freeways in Salt Lake County this morning. Bangerter Highway still slow between Lake Park Boulevard and the 21st South Freeway, in part because of a couple of earlier crashes. Looks like only one's left, and that's the one on the right side, but it is adding to the slowing. We've also got Mountain View backups in the usual stretch from 4100 south down the hill. I-15 a little bit slow as you get on at 106, but that's it so far. Heather?
2000 West remains shut down right now, both northbound and southbound between 1200 and 1100 north. This is affecting drivers both in Far West and Marriott-Slaterville. It's going to take double or even triple your commute time to get around this closure because you don't have a lot of options there. The good news is once you do make it to a freeway, you're not going to have too many issues. A few brake lights showing up now southbound I-15 approaching Roy and again in downtown Salt Lake. Eric.
A couple of the stoplights on SR 36 in Tooele County starting to get a little bit busier as you work your way north from Tooele through Stansbury all the way up to I-80. I-15 in Utah County looking good. Mountain View Corridor and turns into 2100 North. All of that for eastbounders heading over to the freeway. That's starting to get busier. Pioneer Crossing starting to fill in a little bit too, coming out of Saratoga Springs heading over to the Saratoga Road intersection. I'm Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast has plenty of cold weather to go around. 47 today with mostly sunny skies. 45 tomorrow, rain, snow, showers. Drying things out on Wednesday, 43. 44, sunshine on Thursday. Friday, mid-40s, back up to 50s on Saturday, sunshine. Into Sunday we go with highs in the mid-40s, partly cloudy skies. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Fair skies out there. It's going to be a pretty sunrise here in a minute. 30 degrees, and the 7-day forecast brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful.
It is election eve. We're almost there. One more day, Tim. Just one more day.
My question is, will this still be applicable Wednesday, Thursday, Friday?
No, we've done what we can.
Okay.
We'll report it as it comes in.
Okay.
But after tomorrow, yeah, we'll be done.
One more day. Coming up in a minute, we'll check money news here. Pretty flat for the day, actually. But money news headlines are next. KSL News Time, 7:23.
This is Derek Miller speaking on business. Founded in 2016, San Diablo Artisan Churros has taken a beloved Mexican tradition and made it a gourmet experience in Utah and beyond. Their mission is simple: create the best food experience through innovative churros that surprise, delight, and fill lives with happiness. Here's CEO Scott Porter with more.
At San Diablo Artisan Churros, we're passionate about more than just food. We're passionate about people. Our gourmet, fresh-filled churros bring happiness through unforgettable food experiences. It all started for me on the street stands of Mexico City. Now we create churros on demand that are filled with things like dulce de leche, Nutella, and amazing seasonal flavors. We believe in interaction, not just transaction. For us, we're all about filling lives with happiness, one churro at a time. From catering weddings and parties to our churro making kits as awesome corporate gifts, we pride ourselves on delivering a unique churro experience with wicked good treats that you'll never forget. This year, we're really excited to introduce frozen churros in your grocer's freezer. They're take and bake packs to quickly air fry churros at home anytime. Our core values, dedication, attention to detail, and fun are at the heart of everything we do, helping us build a tradition of excellence. Come taste the happiness at San Diablo Artisan Churros.
San Diablo Artisan Churros is creating a legacy of joy and unforgettable food experiences with every fresh-filled churro. To learn more or book their food truck, visit sandiablochurros.com. I'm Derek Miller with the Salt Lake Chamber, speaking on business.
Stop paying 5-star pricing for 3-star service. It's time for a change. Welcome to Beehive Plumbing's Premier Experience. With our Beehive Premier plan, you have access to our VIP phone number and website to ensure prompt and reliable plumbing service by an expert 5-star technician. Why Beehive? Our Premier package comes with an industry-leading warranty, giving you up to 10 years of coverage on both parts and labor. Yeah, that's right, 10-year warranty. Call Beehive Plumbing today or visit beehivepremier.com for expert experience every time.
It's time to fall in love and find great savings as we prepare for the holidays at IFA Country Stores. Our annual early bird sale is 3 unique sales over the next 4 weeks. Prep for winter as you protect and layer up with our vast selection of outerwear and supplies. Care for the things you love with specials throughout the store on farm and home needs. And Christmas comes early with gifts for the whole family this November. Visit us in store for early bird savings or shop for the things you love at ifa.coop.
Watching Utah's Money, brought to you by Trajan Wealth, your trusted local fiduciary advisors, TrajanWealth.com. The price gap between new and used cars has hit an all-time high. Data from Edmund shows the gap is up to $20,000. It comes as used car prices drop and the new cars continue to get more expensive.
Consumers are slowly moving away from Black Friday and Cyber Monday and opting for Travel Tuesday. McKinsey & Company reported that searches for Travel Tuesday went up more than 500% in the last few years. Bookings for flights, hotels, and cruises spiked on that day last year.
Unemployed Gen Zers are turning down work because they can't afford to get there. A report from the Prince's Trust annual NatWest Youth Index 2024 says 1 in 10 turn down a job because they can't afford the commute or even the uniform.
So how old are Gen Zers now? Have you got that all dialed in?
Well, they're like in their 20s, right?
I don't know.
That's what I think of Gen
I'm
Zer.
asking because my grandson's about to graduate from high school.
I think he'd be a Gen Zer.
And you're tough to be able to afford a car.
Yeah.
And if you can afford the car, you can't afford the gas.
Right. Yeah.
So just getting there is a problem.
But didn't we have that problem back when we were kids too?
I don't know.
I mean, cars were expensive back then too. I mean, I remember riding the bus.
Yeah. Futures markets this morning are down, but just fractionally. The Dow is off 59. That's about a tenth. The S&P really is flat. It's off less than a point. The NASDAQ is also down, but only 34 points this hour.
Let's talk about what happens when it's time for you to sell your home. I want to direct you to the Stern team because I had such a great experience with them. In fact, we've had multiple encounters with their experts over the years where I have learned more about the market. And the thing I understand now about real estate is that the best time to get into the real estate market is today. Well, yesterday was the best time. If you missed yesterday, today is the best time because over the long term, real estate just goes up in value. So why not get in today?
And I'll tell you what's gotten really tough, and maybe it's always been this way too, that if you're in a home now and you're looking to downsize, which is kind of the point of life we're at, Becky and myself, how do you decide? Does it make sense for you to sell that house? How much equity? What is it going to cost you to get into the next home? They can help you figure all of that out. They've informed us that there are over 100 things you need to be thinking about when you're going to buy or sell a home.
Right. And they handle it all, whether you need a flexible fees or you need to get an instant cash offer or maybe you need to buy your next home before you sell this. They can make all of that work.
We trust our friends, and you should too, at the Stern Team, powered by Omada Real Estate. Go to sternteam.com.
3 days of coverage.
They plan to add more workers and voting bays if things get too busy.
Generally, people are moving through pretty quickly.
3 days of analysis and breaking updates.
When it's done right, it's interesting, it's invigorating, and I love it.
Listen each time you jump in the car, today, tomorrow, and Wednesday, here on KSL News Radio.
So, Tim, I guess we're going to be at NPS. Is that this Friday? Maybe it is. Join us this Friday from 3 to 5 at the Salt Lake NPS store at 1600 Empire Road, npsstore.com.
Time for traffic and weather together here, and it is brought to you by Sinclair's DinoPay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. Andy's back in the traffic center.
Tim, traffic slowing a little bit on I-15 now between 114th and 106 South in Sandy. You've got Bangerter delays coming over the hill at 5400 South, and then waiting at 35th South and then passing a crash. Actually, looks like the crash finally completely gone from 2700 South, but still pretty busy up to the 201 freeway. First delay of the 201 out in Magna. That's approaching 7200 West. Heather?
US 89 has most of our congestion right now up in Weber County. That's around the I-84 interchange as well as Harrison Boulevard. That's all very typical this time of the morning. Southbound I-15, for the most part, is going to be at freeway speeds from Ogden to Salt Lake, but you'll see a few brake lights from time to time, also in the typical areas. And 200 West in Marriott-Slaterville remains shut down, both northbound and southbound, between 12th and 11th North. Eric.
Still looking good on the freeway in Utah County. That's a 30-minute drive. If you're going to do the whole stretch from Santaquin up to Point of the Mountain, 2100 North, Mountain View corridor leading into 2100 North, Pioneer Crossing, all those for eastbounders starting to get pretty busy now trying to get over to the freeway. Tooele County traffic, not seeing any difficulties really on SR 36. Nothing major to slow you down getting up to I-80. Teens can get up to $200 with a Teen Learn and Earn account, plus continue earning rewards as they master the essentials of finance. More at cypresscu.com/teen. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
By the way, Tim, it's the movie show that's at NPS this Friday.
Shoot, we were both looking at our calendars.
That's not this Friday. They're there from 10 to 1 to the Layton store, 1150 North Main in Layton. And right now in downtown Salt Lake City, 32 degrees.
You're listening to Utah's Morning News with Tim Hughes and Amanda Dixon
on KSL News Radio,
102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
Good morning, KSL News Time, 7:30.
KSL's top story this hour.
Pennsylvania, one of the top focus points of the presidential election. ABC's Josh Einiger is in Philadelphia, kicking off our coverage. Your voice, your vote, 2024.
In the deep red center of Pennsylvania,
Kamala, you're fired.
Donald Trump was hard at work priming his supporters.
Look at what's going on. Look at what's going on in your state.
in case he loses this all-important state.
They're talking about extending hours and stuff. Who ever heard of this stuff?
Kamala Harris was in Michigan, but she and Trump will be back in the Keystone State. Each candidate must win Pennsylvania.
Several of the latest polls show the two candidates are nearly deadlocked in Pennsylvania, with the results being within the margin of error.
NBC is facing criticism for Vice President Harris's appearance on Saturday Night Live over the weekend. We get that story from ABC's Andrew Dimbert.
Saturday Night Live under scrutiny. An FCC commissioner scolding the show for hosting Vice President Harris. Trump-appointed Commissioner Brendan Carr says Harris's appearance was unfair to former President Trump. The FCC says Carr's statements do not represent the commission's official views, noting it has not made any determination regarding political programming rules, nor have we received a complaint from any interested parties.
NBC says they made up for the 90-second cameo made by the vice president on SNL by giving the Trump campaign free airtime for a 60-second ad during a NASCAR race on Sunday.
55% of Americans say they're worried about inflation, and that will be on their minds as they vote this election. That's according to an American Family Survey. Zions Bank Chief Economist Robert Spenlove says inflation has actually calmed down, but prices are still high.
A lot of those main components of inflation are back to normal, even though the prices are higher. Those prices aren't going to come back down again.
We will go in depth on this topic and how it could impact the election coming up in about 10 minutes.
Be sure to keep your radio dialed to KSL News Radio through the election for the latest coverage and results starting tomorrow night at 6. And we'll have special coverage, of course, Wednesday morning. You can also find updates at KSLNewsRadio.com.
Here's something other than politics. Rivalry Week is back for the first time in 3 years. We're now just days away from kickoff between BYU and Utah football. KSL News Radio's Adam Small has more. Adam?
Well, Amanda, the Cougars and Utes are now gearing up for their first matchup since 2021 and the first in Rice-Eccles Stadium since 2018. BYU head coach Kalani Sitake says they've missed not having this game the last few years.
Union, and I don't know what the result of the game is going to be, but I think the level of respect and admiration should be from both sides.
Now, the script has been completely flipped from what we thought was going to happen in the preseason. BYU is now sitting alone atop the Big 12, looking to make it 9-0 with a win, while the Utes look to play spoiler and end their own 4-game losing streak. Kickoff is Saturday night, 8:15. Live, Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
The leaders of BYU and Utah are calling on fans to keep the rivalry civil and to do good for the community instead. KSL News Radio's Michael Commit is live with that part of the story. Michael?
Tim, both Presidents Taylor Randall and C. Shane Reese are endorsing the Rival Right initiative. It's a project that's challenging fans to keep the game competitive, but to never let it get personal. The two shared a message calling on Utes and Cougars to respect the other side.
However hot the rivalry gets, you don't let the competition get in the way of your common humanity.
And remember, what happens off the field matters just as much as the score.
To drive home the point, both schools are hosting the Tackling Hunger Together food drive from now to the 27th. You can donate at Smith's stores between Salt Lake and Utah County. Reporting live, Michael Commit, KSL News Radio.
Football isn't the only college sport taking center stage this week. The college basketball regular season starts today. The Utah Utes are at home playing Alcorn State tonight. Weber State will host Northwest Indian College. BYU hosts Central Arkansas tomorrow. Utah State opens their season on Wednesday, also against Alcorn State.
Andy's back now with your first look traffic.
Traffic on I-15 has been really solid up till now. We got a little bit of delay building between 123rd and 106th South. South 15 still clear from Ogden to North Salt Lake, but then traffic slowing a little bit after that Beck Street and 215 split off as you come into downtown. 201 freeway getting worse now in Magna around 7200 West. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL weather now with Matt Johnson.
I've got dry weather today with highs cold, at least 10 below the normal, 47, mostly sunny. Clouds will increase overnight tonight, and that's out ahead of another cold front that doesn't look very strong, weaker than our last three storms.
We do have a chance of getting a rain-snow mix tomorrow.
A tornado outbreak left behind destruction in Oklahoma City. ABC's Allison Cossack reports.
A trail of destruction after multiple reported tornadoes tore through parts of Oklahoma, one touching down in Oklahoma City. Nearly a dozen people injured.
It was really heavy rain that woke us up and some thunder.
One tornado, a powerful EF3 with winds of at least 136 miles per hour. Dozens of homes and buildings were damaged or destroyed. Cars flipped over. Homes ripped apart.
Oklahoma City officials say nearly 100 buildings were damaged, 39 destroyed.
A local Instagram creator says she's amazed by the response after she asked her followers to help out the West Valley Animal Shelter because it was in need of more food. Brandy Chenoweth runs the dog-friendly SLC Instagram account featuring her dog, Scout.
Scout is turning 7. Why don't we all just donate $7 in honor of Scout, even though, Scout's a golden retriever with a pretty plush life, so he doesn't know what's going on. But on his behalf, I'm honored.
People stepped up, and the donations totaled over $10,000.
Scout is blissfully unaware this morning. Traffic on 2000 South still bogged down in Marriott-Slaterville next to the freeway. We had a crash first thing this morning before the sun came up. We'll check traffic and weather together next.
Listen to KSL for news to get exactly what you want.
Stories about what's going to affect me.
Traffic. If I want to know now, I'll go to KSL Radio.
Hear the important stories, the stories that affect you.
On KSL News Radio.
Is your home ready for the holidays? Before your guests arrive, go with the pros at Zerorez. Carpet, tile, upholstery, air ducts, Zerorez does it all. Don't trust just anybody. Zerorez has a 4.9 rating on Google. Beat the holiday rush and call the cleaning heroes today. Get 3 rooms of carpet cleaning starting at just $119. And take 20% off upholstery cleaning by calling 801-288-9376. Or book online anytime at Zerorez.com and mention the KSL special. Backward or forward, it's the right way to clean. Zerorez.
Thanksgiving can be stressful when you're shopping on a budget. Let Family Dollar help you do more this year with amazing deals on the supplies you need for a great turkey day, from prep to cleanup. See how you could save on Thanksgiving staples like canned soups and veggies, or essentials such as disposable plates and utensils, trash bags, storage supplies, and more. For even greater savings, download the Family Dollar app, clip available offers, and redeem at checkout. Family Dollar, helping you do more.
We have some exciting news to announce.
Master Electrical Service has joined Mountain Home Services.
And I can speak from experience, Deb. Mountain Home Services installed my furnace years ago, and it's been amazing.
And we know Master Electrical Service has been your trusted source for all your electrical needs, like your EV chargers, your generators, and recessed lighting.
But now that they've joined Mountain Home Services, they can help you with your HVAC, your heating and air, as well as your plumbing.
And it comes with that upfront pricing guarantee. I love the upfront pricing guarantee because it means no hidden fees.
100% satisfaction guarantee as well.
Master Electrical Service has been the name you trust since 1954.
They're the company we trust, and so can you.
Check them out now at mountainhomeutah.com.
That's mountainhomeutah.com, or give them a call at 801-543-2222. So easy to remember, 801-543-2222.
7:39, traffic and weather together, brought to you by Sinclair's DinoPay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon, Andy.
Amanda, right now watching travel on the freeway. We've got slowdowns increasing between Bangerter Highway and 106 South in Sandy. The 201 freeway, you're going to be waiting between 8000 and 7200 West because of heavy traffic and the traffic light at 72nd. And then it's kind of sluggish between Mountain View and Bangerter. We had a crash near 3200 West. They apparently have pulled off the freeway, but traffic's still really slow going into the construction there. Heather?
And we do have a crash, I-15 northbound in Clearfield. This is just after the exit to 700 South, which is also SR 193. The vehicles are over on the right shoulder, not causing a lot of delay. Most of your traffic is southbound I-15, but you still don't have any major slowdowns right now between Ogden and Salt Lake. Just a few brake lights in the North Salt Lake area. We're also seeing a bit more slowdowns on Legacy Parkway southbound. That is between Centerville and Bountiful, and that is due to construction. Eric.
Getting into Park City now, a little bit busy for westbounders from US 40 on Kearns Boulevard going into town. But if you're exiting I-80, go to Park City. 224 looks good southbound. Down Utah County, the biggest slowdown stretch on the freeway isn't too bad. It's northbound from Timpanogos Highway heading up to Point of the Mountain. But getting over to the freeway, that's a real hassle for folks on Mountain View Corridor. That turns into 2100 North. All of that eastbound to I-15 is slow. Pioneer Crossing also slow coming out of Saratoga Springs. Step into the magic of Christmases past. Whether decorating for a grand Christmas celebration or adding a few special touches, visit the J&J Garden Center in Layton. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
We'll take a bye day in the weather department. 47 today, dry skies and mostly sunny. 35 overnight, still chilly, but clouds increasing. Tomorrow afternoon, high of 45, and a chance for rain-snow showers. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Sun is up on a beautiful Monday morning, and right now 30 degrees.
I love this explanation that Zions Bank chief economist Robert Spenlove is giving us about how inflation is back to normal. The problem is that these prices got so high when it wasn't, and they're not coming back down.
Well, and it's a cumulative thing. So if it was up 9%, that stays in place, and then you add 5%, and that stays in place.
Which is true since the beginning of time.
Absolutely.
I mean, once prices go up, they never go back down. But inflation itself is back under control. It's just that we're still stuck with these prices.
And they aren't going to go the other way.
Yeah, right. More on that with Robert Spenlove coming up.
Right now, though, it's time for Jeff Kaplan's Minute of News.
Maybe you saw this on vacation over the summer. Influencers taking selfies and doing a photo shoot at the edge of that cliff or standing by the lake, taking way too much time seeking the perfect dappled light to shine on their sculpted cheekbones. At some tourist spots like the Mona Lisa in Paris, you see Instagrammers lined up, each waiting a turn to share how absolutely unique their life is. Next. Now they're showing how amazing they are where you line up, at airport security. Here's a Washington Post reporter to explain, and this is ridiculous.
Apparently there's a new trend taking over TSA security in which people are posting their belongings in the TSA conveyor belt bins. In many of the pictures, you'll see neatly arranged shoes, a passport, other items that make their lives look very luxurious.
And so you're standing there in your socks waiting for a #blessed influencer to arrange their passport on a diagonal so it just touches their wallet, which leads your eye to the mascara thingy alongside 3 perfectly placed coins. Snap, many likes, and you're waiting and you want to say something, but your pants are falling down because you took off your belt. Well, shocker, friends. The TSA says influencers gotta influence. So it's just fine to arrange your bin and take pictures. Just don't hold up the line.
Jeff Kaplan's Minute of News, only on KSL News Radio.
You know what? I think the holidays are the worst time of year for your furnace to go out. What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and every November it feels like people get extra stressed when faced with the need to replace their furnace. The money they've been saving is supposed to go to Christmas, and now they're faced with a choice: Christmas or comfort. This holiday season, Any Hour Services wants to help alleviate some of that stress with our special holiday financing. No money down and no payments until next year. Plus, if you schedule a free estimate before the end of November, Any Hour Services will give you $2,500 off any full system you buy. And that doesn't even factor in the rebates and incentives you might qualify for. Again, during the month of November, Any Hour Services will give you $2,500 off any furnace and air conditioner you buy. And you can take advantage of our special holiday financing with no money down and no payments until next year. For more details, call Any Hour Services and schedule a free estimate. Google Any Hour Services or schedule online at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
KSL News Time, 7:45. The 3 things you need to know this hour. First,
the residents of BYU and Utah are challenging fans to keep the rivalry competitive but civil leading up to the big game this weekend. I'm KSL News Radio's Michael Commit.
Second, a local economist says inflation is on the minds of voters as they head to the polls, and both major candidates are promising to work on bringing prices down.
Third, it's traffic and weather together.
I-15 slow several spots, Point of the Mountain around Bangerter, and again up at 5300 South. South 15 starting to bog down a little bit, Woods Cross to North Salt Lake, and on the main corridor coming south right after the merge up with West Davis in Centerville. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
Cold weather for most of this week and a small little storm tomorrow. I'm Matt Johnson.
And right now it's 30 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
Time to check in with ABC News on this Election Day Eve.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. Kamala Harris is spending the entire last day before the election in Pennsylvania, the state most likely to tip the race. Donald Trump will be there in North Carolina and in Michigan today. ABC's Jonathan Karl, who has covered Trump for 8 years now, talked to him by phone last night.
He did acknowledge to me something I've never heard him acknowledge before, which is that I asked him, is there any way you could lose? And he said, yeah, I guess you could lose. Bad things could happen.
The final ABC News Ipsos poll of likely voters nationwide shows a race within the margin of error. 49% for Kamala Harris, 46% for Donald Trump, but 78 million Americans have already cast their ballots. Union machinists at Boeing are voting today whether to accept the company's latest contract offer or to continue their strike, which has lasted more than 7 weeks now. Actor James Van Der Beek says he's been diagnosed with colon cancer, says he was informed a tabloid was going to go with the news news, so he had no choice but to make his own announcement. This is ABC News.
All right, let's go in depth here. We've been hearing a lot of promises from both major presidential candidates about bringing down prices.
Zions Bank chief economist Robert Spendlove says inflation rates have returned to a near normal range, but it doesn't feel like it because of the current cost of things.
Part of the problem that we're seeing right now is the shock of price increases. So if you look at, so kind of one of the main indicators of inflation is the consumer price index. And so inflation is just the increase or the change in prices. And so if you look at inflation, it peaked 2 years ago in the summer of 22 at around 9%. But our latest inflation readings are much lower. It's right around 2.5%. So the inflation has come back to normal, but the prices are still elevated. And that's what people are upset about. They say they're upset about inflation, but really what they're upset about is the increase in prices over the last 4 years. And those prices aren't going to come back down again. And so we've got this 20% increase in prices, and it's really hard for people to adjust to a shock like that where prices go up so much in such a short period of time.
Spendlove says we are in a healing phase following the rapid inflation period, but there are other economic concerns.
I'll tell you, there are some big struggles at the national level that could impact this inflation. And, the national debt is becoming a bigger problem. The annual budget deficit is becoming a bigger problem. And the international competition against America is really building. So there are a lot of economic challenges that the next president is going to face.
Spendlove says he knows inflation will remain a hot political topic.
Republicans claim that Democrats caused the inflation through the COVID spending bills. And, that's possible in theory, but you can't show a direct connection between those bills and inflation. Then on the other side, Democrats criticize Trump, saying that he's going to impose tariffs on imports coming into America. And that could cause higher inflation, but we don't know exactly how that's going to be executed and what the response from other countries will be. So even there, you can't show a direct relationship between those policies and inflation.
Robert went on to say our economy is still very strong and the healing process will likely take several more years. It's 7:49, traffic and weather together, brought to you by Sinclair's DinoPay app. Save up to 20 cents a gallon. Let's get back over to Andy Farnsworth.
Well, traffic on I-15 is still sluggish coming over Point of the Mountain and off and on. Slowdowns as far north as 106th. You get a break, and then those of you who are in Murray right now between 215 and 53rd South should be a little bit under the speed limit. And then again, if you're switching on to I-80 in South Salt Lake, 201, slow most of the way from 8,000 west all the way over to 3,200 west. There is a little stretch in Magna where it speeds up for a bit, but don't expect it to last for very long. Heather?
We've got a new crash. This is southbound I-15 underneath the Riverdale Road overpass, just as you're trying to go from Riverdale into Roy. Now, it's in the road construction zone, which is always slow anyway, but now the left lane of main flow is blocked, so only two right lanes getting through, and that has traffic backed up almost to 31st Street in Ogden. It's going to take you at least 5 extra minutes to get through this. Once you do, though, you've got good speeds the rest of the way into downtown Salt Lake City. The west side belt has a bit of slowing, though, between 2100 North and the I-80 turnoff to the airport. Eric.
2100 North in Utah County, as well as Pioneer Crossing. Both of those slow for eastbounders from Redwood Road over to the freeway. As far as the freeway traffic or flow itself, it looks good in Utah County northbound. We do have a little bit of slowing from Timpanogos Highway heading up to Point of the Mountain, but that's about it. Find out more about how your kitchen or bath can be the kitchen or bath of your dreams in just 3 days. Just visit 3daykitchen.com. That's 3daykitchen.com. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
7-day forecast brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful. How you doing, Matt?
Hey, doing pretty good. And the weather is too. 47 today, mostly sunny, but that 47 is a solid 10 below the normal. You will feel the chill. 45 tomorrow on Election Day with a slight chance for some rain, snow showers. Maybe 1/10 of an inch of water with that. Not much. Mostly sunny, 43 on Wednesday, Thursday, 44, 46 on Friday. So today through Friday, 10 below the normal. Then we bump it up to 50 on Saturday and Sunday, 54. So some, we'll call it quote-unquote warmer weather over the weekend.
Okay.
So Mother Nature's not going to impact our those that do have to go to the polls tomorrow, doesn't look like?
No, you should be good, but just don't be surprised if you see a couple of rain, snow showers.
Yeah. All right. Good news, and it's beautiful out there right now. Sunny skies and 30 degrees. Tonight at 6 o'clock, it is Rivalry Week, and that means Cougar Nation's going to be...
It's going to be hot.
Going to be energized with Matt and Mitch. So look forward to that at 6 o'clock tonight. It's brought to you by Central Bank, serving Utah County for over 133 years with trusted service, modern technology, and personalized care.
Hi, Doug Wright, and I love companies where everything is just a win-win-win, and that's NPS. A lot of people have asked me, hey, how do they sell this stuff at 20 to 70% off each and every day? And then even on top of that, the individual stores will have even more savings. And the bottom line is NPS knows how to buy. Their inventory comes from overstock, unclaimed, and refused shipments from various companies. And boy, they are glad to find an outlet for those goods. And they look all over the world for these great items. When you go into any of the stores, like I mentioned, 2 here in Salt Lake, 1 in Layton, and 1 in Orem, you're going to find unexpected treats, unexpected treasures. You're going to love shopping at NPS. And don't forget, with all the special events coming up, you're going to find amazing things at NPS, a nice place to shop.
Hi, I'm Nate Orchard, the mayor of Sac Lake City with Advanced Window Products.
And I'm Jake, the other guy. Are you aware of the latest technology in replacement windows?
Upgrade to affordable, energy-efficient windows and save on your utility bills.
Right now, get $2,500 off when you purchase 10 windows or more.
That's $2,500 in savings.
Call us today at 801-850-9100 or visit advancedwindows.com.
Advanced Window Products, Utah's window experts.
You need to meet my aunt. Her name is Rochelle Morris, and she's running for Salt Lake County Council. She's super smart, and she really cares about people. She wants Salt Lake County to be a great place for kids. That means safe parks, safe streets, good rec centers, and making sure taxes go down instead of up. Go to voterochellemorris.com to learn more.
Thanks, Zoe and Tilly. I'm Rochelle Morris, and I'm running to make Salt Lake County work better for all of us. With my background in managing money in the private sector, I'm committed to cutting waste, holding the county accountable, and maximizing and protecting your tax dollars for you. Together, we can ensure Salt Lake County is a great place to live for many years to come. I'm Rochelle Morris, and I approve this message. Learn more at voterochellemorris.com.
That's voterochellemorris.com.
Paid for by Rochelle Morris for Salt Lake County Council.
Watching Utah's Money, brought to you by Trajan Wealth, your trusted local fiduciary advisors, TrajanWealth.com. Apple has committed $1.5 billion to the satellite communications company Globalstar to fund the expansion of iPhone services. The money will allow Globalstar to purchase new satellites and expand its ground infrastructure.
Markets are down in the first half hour of trading. The Dow is off 142, which is 0.3. We're at 41,909. S&P is down 2, just a fraction. The Nasdaq down 40, which is 0.2.
Time now for Cougar Track, sponsored by the Premium Checking at America First Credit Union. Learn more at americafirst.com. Here's BYU insider Mitch Harper.
It's been 3 years since BYU and Utah met on the football field. In an era of the transfer portal and consistent roster movement, it means not many players experienced that last meeting between the heated in-state rivals. BYU defensive ends coach Kelly Papinga discussed that dynamic on the KSL Sports Zone.
I think it's going to be new for everybody in a way, so for us, it's just educating. Coach Hill did a great job yesterday getting in front of our defense and educating them on what this rivalry is all about, giving it a little bit of history. And him as a coach, as a player, me as a coach, as a player, we look at our whole staff with Coach Anna, Coach Guilford, Coach Puha. All of us have played in this game. All of us have coached in this game. And so we know what it's about. It's about us educating the players and what it's all about and not getting them stressed, but it's fun.
For more BYU versus Utah rivalry content throughout the week, download the KSL Sports app today. With Cougar Tracks, I'm Mitch Harper on your legacy home of the BYU Cougars, KSL News Radio.
What's better than a credit card with a low interest rate? How about one with no interest? For a limited time, when you open a new America First Visa, you'll enjoy 0% APR purchases for the first 6 months. Yep, all that buying power and not a single cent of interest for 6 months. That means no interest on summer fun, no interest on back-to-school gear, and no interest on holiday shopping. Interested? Then hurry to AmericaFirst.com to apply for yours today. Introductory variable annual percentage rate. Membership eligibility terms, creditworthiness, and conditions apply. See AmericaFirst.com/Visa for details. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal opportunity lender.
Hey, Benjamin, we've got a surprise for you.
What? You have a brother. A $100 bill just like you.
Hey, I'm Ben.
What? We just got him for joining America First Credit Union and opening a new checking account.
And you're going to live together at America First.
What? This is nice.
For a limited time, new members get a $100 cash bonus when they open a checking account or $50 when they open a youth checking account. So head to AmericaFirst.com and get your money working today. Membership eligibility, terms, and conditions apply. Federally insured by NCUA.
Tim Jr. here from RGS Exteriors. Did you know that we offer 3 distinct styles of gutter protection? Each one meant to handle a specific leaf problem. You might not even know there are different styles of gutter protection, but there are. And if you pick the wrong one, it could be a huge waste of money. Now, the big gutter guard companies won't tell you this. They try to sell you a one-size-fits-all gutter guard. And it could be completely wrong for the amount and types of trees and leaves you have. Not RGS Exteriors. We understand which kind of leaf problem needs which kind of gutter guard. We'll do an in-depth evaluation to assess the types, locations, and numbers of trees in your yard. Based on that data, we match your home to the right gutter guard. So don't risk wasting money on the wrong gutter protection. For a free evaluation and estimate, call RGS Exteriors at 801-280-3110 or visit rgsexteriors.com. That's 801-280-3110 or rgsexteriors.com.
Tomorrow, we have allocated some additional resources, some more voting booths.
No matter where you have to be or go, stay updated on the races that matter most to you. From county to county and coast to coast, we have you covered all day, Election Day. In your car at 102.7 FM or ask Alexa, play KSL News Radio.
7:59, traffic and weather together, brought to you by Sinclair's Dino Pay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. Andy?
Amanda, more delays on I-15 around Bangerter Highway coming down from Bluffdale at this moment. You've also got some delays approaching the freeway on 123rd South. We might have a crash at that intersection just west of the freeway because traffic is backed up all the way down into the river bottom on 123rd. Plus, we've got slowdowns on Bangerter going over the top of 5400 South and on the 201 freeway from Mountain View all the way to 3200 West. Heather?
Traffic's at a crawl right now, southbound I-15 between 31st Street and Ogden down to the Riverdale Road overpass. It's due to a crash in the construction zone that's blocking the left lane of main flow traffic. So only 2 right lanes getting through there. Now, once you get past, you'll see some more brake lights between North Salt Lake and downtown, and Legacy Parkway slowing down as well due to construction from Centerville to Bountiful. Eric?
It's looking good in Utah County on I-15. Really not seeing any difficulties as you work your way north from Provo and Orem up to Thanksgiving Point. We do have some slowing after that. After Timpanogos Highway exit, just a small amount of speed reduction heading up to Point of the Mountain. Out in Tooele County, SR 36 looking good northbound heading up to I-80. Eric Butler on the KSL Traffic Center.
47 for a high today with all that sunshine. Matt said won't be too rainy tomorrow, but there is rain in the valley, snow in the mountains, about a 60% chance with 45 for a high. Right now, sunny skies, and we'll be warming up shortly, I'm sure. It's 30 downtown.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Good morning. KSL News Time is 8 o'clock. This is Utah's Morning News. I'm Tim Hughes.
And I'm Amanda Dixon. KSL's top story this hour.
If you're sending your ballot back in the mail, you've got to get it done today.
All ballots must be postmarked before the end of the day, but you probably don't want to just leave it in a mailbox. KSL News Radio's Adam Small begins our live team coverage, Your Voice, Your Vote 2024. Adam?
Yeah, Amanda, if you drop your ballot in the outgoing mail on your way out the door this morning, there's no guaranteeing that that's going to get postmarked before the end of the day. So at this point, you're going to want to physically take your ballot inside a post office, and you can even ask a worker to postmark it for you right then and there. But if that's not a feasible option for you today, it might just be easier to leave it in an official election drop box, which you can actually do through tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. Live, Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
It's still not too late to register to vote, but you'll need to come prepared. KSL News Radio's Michael Commit continues on live team coverage. Your voice, your vote, 2024. Michael?
Tim, Utah allows you to register and vote on the same day. You'll just need to bring 2 forms of ID with you that prove your identity and where you live. Now, something as simple as a driver's license or a state/federal ID card will get you registered. Passports, tribal cards, or even your concealed carry permits will work as well. Now, if you lack any of those, then you can also go for non-photo IDs, just as long as they have your address on it. Acceptable forms include bank or financial statements, naturalization records, or just your social security card, or even a recent utility bill. Reporting live, Michael Commit, KSL News Radio.
We have some brand new voting numbers here in Utah. As of this morning, 46.2% of ballots have been returned in the state. The Lieutenant Governor says over 659,000 of those were sent through the mail. 23,000 were returned in person, and Grand County currently has the highest percent of voter participation.
Now our top national stories this hour. The top presidential candidates are squeezing in as many campaign events in battleground states as they can. Here's Vice President Harris at an event in Michigan.
Michigan, I am here to ask for your vote. I am here to ask for your vote.
Former President Trump spoke to people in Georgia.
It would be nice. It's obviously not necessary, but it would really be nice to have more votes than they do.
So far, reports say over 77 million Americans have taken advantage of early voting.
Be sure to stay with KSL News Radio through the election to get the latest breaking news, both on air and at KSLNewsRadio.com. We'll have special election night coverage starting at 6 o'clock tomorrow night, and we'll have special coverage Wednesday morning with the latest results.
In other news this morning, the UN says the conditions in Gaza are getting worse.
UN agencies now describing the situation in North Gaza as apocalyptic. A month into Israel's renewed ground offensive there, the UN now saying 6 people, including 4 children, were injured following a strike on the Sheikh Radwan clinic. That's where efforts are underway to restart the polio vaccination campaign again, which was put on hold because of the intense fighting, and still in some areas it's simply too dangerous for aid organizations to reach those areas.
ABC's Britt Clennon is in Jerusalem and also reports that Iran is ramping up their threats against Israel.
The body of a missing young woman was found near Farmington Canyon after a 2-day search. Brad McDonald tells KSL TV Mia Casto was last seen at his house on Friday. He had never met her before, and she just walked into his home. She then left and walked into the woods. He and other volunteers joined police in the search, but they were not successful.
I think we were all afraid that that's what the result was going to be after 2 nights in very cold temperatures. But it was hard to hear that, and it was hard to, not kind of blame ourselves that we didn't stop her from leaving our house, but we didn't know.
Casto was not dressed for cold weather. Police have not yet said how she died.
Time again for First Look Traffic, so let's get back over to Andy Farnsworth.
Well, Tim, I-15's got some troubles south out of Ogden. From Ogden to Riverdale Roy, you've got a crash blocking multiple lanes and everybody being forced to the right near the Riverdale Road overpass. Traffic's also slow on the northbound side of things, coming up out of Pleasant Grove, where there's a crash on the right shoulder, some slowing Lehigh, Draper, Murray, just a lot of busy spots as we hit the peak of the commute. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
Could avian flu affect Thanksgiving? State officials say they are concerned about turkey farms in central Utah. KSL News Radio's Tammy Kikuchi reports.
Avian flu is highly contagious and can be spread by wild migratory waterfowl and turkeys. But the state veterinarian says the greatest danger may be over as the migration is ending. But Oregon recently reported 2 cases of bird flu in pigs. It's an emerging problem for pigs, and officials say they're watching it closely before imposing any restrictions on the pig farms in southern Utah.
So far, there is no concern for humans who eat the infected poultry.
Communities in Spain are trying to clean up after getting hit by some of the worst flooding in the nation's history. Park City resident Jansen Jacobson is close friends with Spanish exchange student Pablo Chinchilla, and he's been working on ways to help out. KSL TV's Brianna Chavez reports.
I just woke up and I got emotional. First thing I did was text him, call him.
Pablo and his family thankfully are safe, but knows others were not so lucky.
We have been the last 5 days cleaning the streets, cleaning houses, helping each other.
Despite being thousands of miles away,
if it were up to me, I would be out there in the city helping them.
Jansen decided to start a fundraiser to help his friend and the town he's grown to love.
You can learn more about that fundraiser on KSL TV's website.
The music world has lost a legend. The man who made Michael Jackson's music video Thriller, Quincy Jones, has passed away at age 91.
In the 1950s, Jones followed his passion working as a trumpeter and conductor for Lionel Hampton's band, and would go on to work with jazz greats, including Sarah Vaughan. In 1978, Q, as he was called by friends, produced the soundtrack for The Wiz. He was also the man behind the all-star charity single, We Are the World. Ike Ajachi, ABC News, Washington, D.C.
We've got splotches of northbound I-15 slowing in Salt Lake County, approaching the Bangerter exit and Midvale into Murray right now. We'll see what the cause of all of that is when we check traffic and weather together.
Spend your workday with a talk show that makes you feel better about the news.
Debbie is the voice of reason, and Dave reminds me of my little brother. Well-spoken, and they're a great team together.
Dave and Debbie, live from 9 to noon, or podcast the show on the app for KSL News Radio.
What's that sound? That's the sound of Downy Unstoppable scent beads going into your washing machine and giving your clothes freshness that lasts all day long. There it is again. It's like music to your ears, or more like music to your nose. That freshness is irresistible. Let's get a Downy Unstoppables bottle shake. And now a sniff solo. Nice. With Downy Unstoppables, you just toss, wash, wow, for all-day freshness.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
Beehive Plumbing now offers premier service. 10 years of coverage on both parts and labor. Call or visit beehivepremier.com for expert experience every time.
I'm Utah Tax Attorney Jordan Wilcox. Listen to what actual clients have had to say about working with us.
I'm Paul. I'm a contractor. I had a tax problem that was pretty significant. Needed some help with the IRS. I had prepared my taxes for a few years, but when I went to file them, I didn't have any money to pay those taxes. And so I just filed the returns in my drawer and went about my business. And about 3 years went by when I did that, and pretty soon I owed $102,000. And I met with Jordan, and we talked about the hole I dug myself into. And from start to finish, the process was encouraging, supportive. Saved me about $80,000, $102,000 to $22,000. No complaints.
Hi, I'm Jordan Wilcox. You need a tax attorney that's not afraid to fight for you. Visit taxhelput.com to schedule your free consultation.
The relief is immeasurable.
That's taxhelput.com.
Just a quick reminder that all ballots have to be postmarked before the end of the day, and Adam Small's been telling us don't leave it sitting in a mailbox
Because you just can't be sure. You take it to the post office directly if that's the case.
We've got a lot more great tips coming up for you throughout the day today. Your voice, your vote coverage here on KSL. It's 8:09. Time for a look at traffic and weather together, brought to you by Sinclair's Dino Pay app. Save up to 20 cents a gallon. Still have some slow spots out there, Andy.
Yeah, we do. It's, in fact, I-15's got some trouble spots between Point of the Mountain all the way up into 53rd South in Murray. You've got stop-and-go traffic on 123rd South coming up from the river bottom over to I-15 because of either a crash or some traffic lights malfunctioning at the intersection with Lone Peak Parkway. And then on the west side, you've got slowdown still on Bangerter through Taylorsville, and then again up by the 21st South Freeway. Heather?
Our biggest delays are in Weber County. This is southbound I-15 between 31st Street and Ogden and the Riverdale Road overpass. It's due to a crash blocking the left lane in the road construction zone area. Now, they are loading one of the cars onto a tow truck right now, but emergency vehicles, again, still blocking that left lane. Once you get past it, you'll see more slowdowns from Beck Street into downtown. Legacy Parkway in the West Side Belt also very slow. Legacy is due to construction. Eric.
We did have a crash in Utah County. Northbound I-15 in Linden was over on the right shoulder, and just as quickly as It was registering with the local authorities. It was moved off, so right now it's still looking like a clean drive. Northbound from Santa Quin Payson all the way up to Point of the Mountain. If you're getting over to the freeway, expect your usual slowdowns. Mountain View Corridor turning into 2100 North and heading over to the freeway. Pioneer Crossing coming out of Saratoga Springs. Enjoy ice skating with your friends and family on the fastest ice on earth this holiday season. Head to the Utah Olympic Oval to skate on the 400-meter ice. More information at UtahOlympicLegacy.org. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
Hey, the wet weather takes a break for today. 47 the high, mostly sunny skies. Overnight, 35 the low, with clouds moving in from the northwest. By tomorrow afternoon, 45 the high, and a chance for some rain, snow showers. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
That sunshine now starting to have an effect. It's 34 degrees downtown.
Coming up in just a moment, a new report shows that if you expect your kids to be able to buy their first home in their 20s, does anybody expect that?
I don't. Of course, my kids are all out of their 20s now.
You better think again. We'll have more on that with Dave Noriega just ahead.
Stay with us streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio, Utah's news, traffic, and weather station. We were hearing this morning again about inflation. Robert Spendlove had comments last hour, and the pressure that's putting on people, particularly as we head into another holiday season here. We've got a way to sort of take a pressure valve release.
Oh, yeah.
Every day, and that is the savings you'll find at NPS.
Because we learned, prices are going to stay at this higher level, but not at NPS.
Yeah.
At NPS, you're going to save 20 to 70% every day. So, yes, I do my grocery shopping there. Every time I can, I go there to grocery shop. But they have so much more that could be Christmas gifts or holiday gifts. Like they have wonderful clothes, they have toys and electronics and, kitchen things and shoes and all kinds of things. Beautiful purses.
We like to say that it's treasure hunting at its best, but they actually will restock shelves several times a day. So I think it goes without saying that if you went shopping today at any one of the 4 locations and you went back tomorrow, you're going to find different things on the shelf.
Yeah, and let's just be clear. This is all brand new merchandise that for whatever reason, didn't get accepted where it was shipped. So it goes to NPS, and we get it at such a low price.
And by the way, these are not scratch and dents.
Oh, right.
So you don't have to worry about that. It's just fantastic. Go visit them and save some money today. 20 to 70% off. They have 4 locations, 2 in Salt Lake City, 1 in Layton right there on Main Street, and 1 in Orem on State Street.
Hey, this is Dan, the laptop man from PC Laptops. Imagine struggling with a slow, outdated computer that takes forever to load anything, that randomly freezes up and is filled with viruses and malware.
Now picture yourself with a powerful desktop or laptop that runs smoothly and efficiently, making your work and entertainment seamless. Take one home today. The new 2025 S1 desktop or SM3 laptop for only $999. You heard that right, $999. You get a blazing fast processor, 16 gigs of RAM, and over a terabyte of blazing storage for $999. What else do you get? Lifetime service warranty, and we have 12 months special financing on approved credit. Hurry in right now because supplies are limited, because at PC Laptops, we love you. Just check us out at PCLaptops.com. $999, PCLaptops.com.
Is your home ready for the holidays? Before your guests arrive, go with the pros at Zerorez. Carpet, tile, upholstery, air ducts, Zerorez does it all. Don't trust just anybody. Zerorez has a 4.9 rating on Google. Beat the holiday rush and call the cleaning heroes today. Get 3 rooms of carpet cleaning starting at just $119. And take 20% off upholstery cleaning by calling 801-288-9376. Or book online anytime at Zerorez.com and mention the KSL special. Backward or forward, it's the right way to clean. Zerorez.
Don't let cold season make you miserable. Try the quick, drug-free solution for nasal congestion, Navage. Navage uses gentle suction to flush out your sinuses with refreshing saline, helping you breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier all winter long. And here's even better news. Navage is now available at select Costco locations in a great new value pack. It's everything you need to start breathing better fast. Check out Navage at your local Costco today. Navage, Navage. Breathe easy.
KSL News Time, 8:15. The three things you need to know this hour. First,
anyone planning to send their ballot back in the mail must have them postmarked today. Clerks recommend either physically taking it into a post office or leaving it in a drop box. I'm KSL News Radio's Adam Small.
Second, the state is keeping an eye on Utah's turkey flocks because of avian flu that showed up in chickens and cows.
Third, it's traffic and weather together.
Still have I-15 slowdown scattered from Point of the Mountain to Murray. South 15 still backed up solid in Ogden down into Roy because of a crash, still blocking lanes. And we've got 201 slowdowns through the West Valley into Salt Lake portion. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
Mostly sunny skies today, but cold with highs in the 40s. I'm Matt Johnson.
Right now, 34 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
And time to check in on our top national stories.
From ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. With just hours to go until it is finally officially, definitively Election Day 2024, there are new numbers out on how Americans are feeling. There's ABC News political director Rick Klein.
The latest and last New York Times Siena polls shows kind of the reverse image of what you might expect. Harris right now very narrowly ahead in Nevada, as well as North Carolina and Georgia. Those are must-win states if you're Donald Trump, and that's a little bit of a surprise. Meanwhile, the opposite is true in some of the battleground states that Harris has to win. Right now, a tied race in Pennsylvania, a tied race in Michigan. That's problematic for the Harris campaign, and it tells you why both campaigns are nervous. They still have to defend what should be safe territory in a very close race.
Kamala Harris will spend all of today crisscrossing Pennsylvania. Donald Trump will be there, North Carolina, and in Michigan. Last night, he talked by phone with ABC's Jonathan Karl.
He did acknowledge to me something I'd never heard him acknowledge before, which is that I asked him, is there any way you could lose? And he said, yeah, I guess you could lose. Bad things could happen.
Steps are being taken to ensure bad things don't happen at polling places across the country tomorrow. ABC's Pierre Thomas runs down some of the precautions.
In Detroit, they have bulletproof glass and a panic button for workers to call police who will be stationed around the building, even on the roof. In Maricopa County, Arizona, metal detectors, armed guards, surveillance cameras, and if necessary, a SWAT team. In Washington State, Nevada, and Oregon, governors plan to have National Guard available for any large-scale civil disturbances.
Despite all that security concern, Homeland Security workers insist all polling places will be safe for voters. The Supreme Court will take up a new redistricting case involving Louisiana's congressional map, but arguments won't be heard until after the election. At least 10 people have died after a volcano began erupting overnight in Indonesia, hot ash hitting several villages. This is ABC News.
This is interesting. A new report on real estate shows if you expect your kids to buy their first home in their 20s, Dave Noriega says you better think again.
Yeah, this was very, very interesting. This was a report that was released just barely this morning from the National Association of Realtors. It's the state of the market. So this is where they track every sales that has happened. Well, for first-time home buyers, it's leapt from the average age being 35, which surprised me. I thought 35 was late.
Yeah.
It's now leapt to 38.
Wow.
38 years old for first-time home buyers.
That's sad.
Yeah, it's brutal. And obviously, this has got two things going for it. It's obviously young home buyers have a hard time coming up with the down payment. The average home price right now in America is $435,000. But here in Utah, it's even more. It's more around $520,000. So if you're going to put down 18%, even at that $435,000, good luck finding a home for $435,000. But if you find a home for $435,000, that is almost an $80,000 down payment at 18%.
It's so discouraging. You know, I bought my first home when I was 22 or 23 years old on a single income radio salary, which was not easy back then, but we did it.
Yeah, and part of what is so difficult when you're looking at some of these numbers is when you compare it to what it was just a few years ago. Back in 2020, the price of the homes have gone up 40% since 2020.
Mm-hmm. And yet they're just going to keep going up. So, what do you do? If you don't get in now, it's going to be more expensive.
But then how do you come up with that down payment? And then another layer to it is how do you compete against the investments that are out there, the cash-in, all-cash buyers?
I wonder if something can be done about that.
Right. Yeah, and because when you start getting into that battle, you're just driving that price up.
Well, affordable housing is one thing that's been on the docket this election season for sure, and tomorrow's a day to vote. The 7-day forecast is coming up here in just a minute, but don't miss David Dujanovic, top of the hour, 9 to noon on KSL News Radio.
And let's get a look now at traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by Sinclair's Dino Pay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon, Andy.
Amanda, travel on North 15 still struggling. We got a couple crashes one on each side of the freeway on I-15 between Bangor and Bluffdale. The one on the northbound side is adding to the slowing between Bluffdale and Bangor, but then you've also got some brake lights near 123rd South. And then again, now it's getting worse between 90th South and 5300 South in Murray. 201 still slow between Bangor and 215. Heather?
The crash southbound I-15 near Riverdale Road has cleared. All the lanes are now open in that road construction zone, but residual delays remain. So you're still going to be very slow, even mostly stop and go, approaching 31st Street in Ogden down to the I-84 interchange. After that, you're mostly at freeway speeds all the way into downtown Salt Lake City. We still have a crash northbound I-15 just after the 700 South exit in Clearfield, but that's never caused any slowdowns. Eric?
Tooele County traffic having a good Monday commute. No problems northbound SR 36 from Tooele through Erda and Stansbury up to I-80. I-15 Utah County running along at a normal rate of speed. We did have an accident earlier in Linden, but never really caused any major delays. The biggest delay continues to be Mountain View Corridor at Redwood Road turns into 2100 North, and all of that, including 2100 North over to I-15, is slow. Coming out of Saratoga, Springs Pioneer Crossing also slow, going by Saratoga Road. Michael McLean is back in the Forgotten Carols, the unforgettable story and songs that are a Christmas tradition for families everywhere. See it in Orem, Salt Lake, and Ogden. Tickets at ForgottenCarols.com. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast has plenty of cold weather to go around. 47 today with mostly sunny skies. 45 tomorrow, rain, snow, showers. Drying things out on Wednesday, 43. 44, sunshine on Thursday. Friday, mid-40s, back up to 50s on Saturday, sunshine. Into Sunday we go with highs in the mid-40s, partly cloudy skies. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Look at that day, but don't be fooled by the sunshine. It's cold out there, 34 degrees this hour. And the 7-day forecast brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful.
Hey, you want to take your mind off the election? Tune into Cougar Nation tonight. This is going to be fun.
It will be.
Mitch and Matt will be taking your phone calls and talking to Cougar fans on this week before the big rivalry game up on the hill. And it's brought to you by Central Bank, voted best bank and mortgage in Utah Valley. Visit them online at cbutah.com.
KSL News Time, 8:23.
My name is Brian King, and I'm running to be your governor because Utah is headed in the wrong direction, and we can do so much better. If you're frustrated by politics today, if you feel like politicians aren't listening to you, if you're looking for something different, for a leader who prioritizes common sense and bipartisanship, you have a place with us in this campaign. Join us and vote for Brian King for governor by November 5th. For the better.
Paid for by Brian for Utah.
Alpine Home Medical, we bring wellness home.
Do you ever feel like getting your supplies for your CPAP is just a huge headache? Hi, I'm Jay Broadbent with Alpine Home Medical. We'll say goodbye to the hassle and hello to a stress-free life with our CPAP resupply service. Signing up is a breeze. Just place a call, choose your products, and leave the insurance billing and shipping to us. Our discreet packaging prioritizes your privacy, and we always ensure an on-time delivery. No more trips to the store or worrying about running out of important supplies. We get how crucial your CPAP therapy is, so don't let the stress of keeping up with it affect your sleep and health. Join Alpine Resupply today and enjoy a tranquil night's sleep with all your CPAP essentials. Visit us at alpinehomemedical.com.
Alpine Home Medical, we bring wellness home.
That's alpinehomemedical.com.
At Gillette Services, you're more than just a customer. You're family. We pride ourselves on delivering exceptional HVAC and plumbing services with a personal touch. Whether it's a routine checkup or an emergency, we're here for you. Get a $49 tune-up for the first 50 callers. Call 385-GET-HEAT today. That's 385-438-4328 today.
A Carrier Factory authorized dealer.
Attention Utah professionals. Join us at the Utah Business Forward event on November 20th, 2024 at the Grand America Hotel. Learn from successful Utah leaders, including Kurt Doman of Progressive Leasing and U of U women's basketball coach Lynn Roberts. Dive into breakout sessions on entrepreneurship, people and culture, acquisitions, AI, brand marketing, and strategic leadership. Don't miss this opportunity to connect and grow. Visit forward.utahbusiness.com to register today.
Dave and Dujanovic. Another once popular restaurant chain files for bankruptcy. Others are slicing menu options and cutting hours to fight off losses. And my co-host Dave Noriega is wondering if his dining out eating habits could be contributing to the downfall of sit-down restaurants. Today, in the 10 o'clock hour of the Dave and Dujanovic Show.
Watching Utah's Money, brought to you by Trajan Wealth, your trusted local fiduciary advisors, TrajanWealth.com. Alcohol sales are dropping in America for the first time in years. Drink analysis firm IWSR found that overall sales fell 3% in the first 7 months of the year. The decline comes after a huge boost brought by the pandemic.
Intel is getting kicked out of the Dow. The company is losing its spot to NVIDIA. The struggling chipmaker was on the first two technology firms, or one of the first two, to be included in the index. Intel shares have dropped 54% this year.
The buy now, pay later market is expanding. Affirm is launching in the UK, its first market outside of North America. UK lawmakers are not happy about it, saying it encourages impulse buying and normalizes debt.
Markets are mixed now. The Dow, the only one in the red. It's off about 106 points, which is 0.25%. The S&P is up just 10, and the NASDAQ on the plus side this hour by 33.
Looks like we still have slowdowns from Ogden to Riverdale because of a southbound I-15 crash there. We'll check that and the rest of your commute just ahead.
It is that time of year, and boy, we look forward to being able to help this Harvest of Hope campaign that goes on with our friends at Macy's. But it's easy for you to just step into the store and help. Actually, you could do it online.
Yeah, you can.
But if you shop at Macy's, there are some easy ways to participate.
Either, sometimes I'll grab an icon right up at the register, and then I can just put in whatever dollar amount I want to donate. Or you'll see these bags that they have. They're $5, and they include the kinds of things that the food bank has told us they really need, like peanut butter and canned meats and, like tuna and chicken, that kind of thing.
And the need is so great in our state. They tell us that here in Utah, 317,000 people, which is 1 in 11 individuals and 1 in 10 children, struggle with hunger.
That need makes me sad. It makes me realize I can grab a couple of those $5 bags. I can do that, or I can go online to Macy's.com and make a donation in any amount.
And of course, all of it benefits local food banks. So do that today. We have a goal of raising $200,000 during the Harvest of Hope, which goes through the end of the month.
Our Cougars have a week off.
He's gonna go! Touchdown!
Prepping for the rivalry game.
Touchdown, BYU!
There's plenty to be excited about, including your calls before BYU-Utah on Cougar Nation. Join us 6 to 7 tonight on KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
KSL News Time, 8:29. Traffic and weather together. Brought to you by Sinclair's Dino Pay app. Save up to 20 cents a gallon. Still a lot of people on the roads, Andy.
Yes, there are. Slowdowns coming over Point of the Mountain, continue up into Sandy, and then you've got some brake lights as well, trying to get over 215 around 7200, 5300 south. Bangor is still delayed in Taylorsville at the 5400 overpass, and SR 201 not quite clear of delays, but you'll still see them between Bangor and 215. Heather?
Speeds are returning to normal southbound I-15 between Ogden and Roy, but you're still slightly under the speed limit. It's all due to an earlier crash near Riverdale Road that had a lane blocked. The crash is cleared. Again, it'll just take a few more minutes for everybody to get back up to freeway speeds. And then once you get past where the crash had been, you're going to be fine the rest of the way into downtown Salt Lake. Legacy Parkway does have some slowdowns both directions between Bountiful and Centerville. That is due to road construction and lane restrictions. Eric?
Over on the 215 eastbound, looks good heading north alongside the mountains from 6200 south up to the mouth of Parley's Canyon. If you continue northbound on Foothill Drive, expect your usual slowing from basically about Parley's Way in spots up to about 1700 south. I-80 out into the mountains looks good this morning. You don't have any problems getting into Park City, not from I-80, but from US 40 westbound. Kearns Boulevard is experiencing usual slowdowns heading into town this morning, and that's on the westbound side. I'm Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
So today, our high will be 47 with just a few clouds. Tomorrow, we might get some rain-snow mix, and right now it's 34 downtown.
You're listening to Utah's Morning News with Tim Hughes and Amanda Dixon
On KSL News Radio.
102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
Good morning, KSL News Time, 8:30.
KSL's top story this hour.
The race for the White House is extremely tight in several battleground states.
ABC's Cristian Cordero kicks off our team coverage, Your Voice, Your Vote 2024, looking over the latest polls.
A new poll from the battleground states shows Harris with marginal leads in Nevada, North Carolina, and Wisconsin. Trump with a slight lead in Arizona, and even closer races in Georgia, Michigan.
My father-in-law is a lifelong Republican. You'll talk about Ronald Reagan all day. He is voting for Kamala Harris.
And Pennsylvania. In all 7 states, the races are within the poll's margin of error. Cristian Cordero, ABC News, Washington.
NBC is being criticized by a member of the FCC for allowing Vice President Harris to make an appearance on Saturday Night Live in the final weekend before the election. ABC's Andrew Dimbert tells us what the network did to make good on equal time rules.
Last night, NBC gave Trump this free 60-second ad during NASCAR coverage.
Just remember, Kamala and her friends broke it. I'll fix it.
As for Harris, she appeared with SNL alum Maya Rudolph.
The American people want to stop the chaos and end the drama.
NBC has said it will comply with any regulatory obligations. SNL executive producer Lorne Michaels indicated just last month that neither candidate would appear on the show, citing concern about the FCC's equal time provision.
Presidential candidates have regularly been appearing on late-night shows since 1996, when Republican Bob Dole made an appearance.
Voters say one of the biggest issues on their mind this election is inflation. KSL News Radio's Britt Johnson continues our team coverage, Your Voice, Your Vote 2024.
The American Family Survey says the majority of people are very worried about inflation. No other economic issue even comes close. But whoever is elected president may not have much direct influence on the price of goods. However, they could create policy that could help. But regardless, our inflation is actually in the normal range. It just doesn't feel like it. Zions Bank chief economist Robert Spenlove says we still have sticker shock from when inflation hit its peak in 2022.
We were hit by that inflation. It's been really difficult, and income holistically hasn't kept up with that inflation. And that's the problem, is the economy needs time to heal, and we're still going through that healing process.
Britt Johnson, KSL News Radio.
Be sure to keep your radio dialed to KSL News Radio through the election for the latest coverage and results starting tomorrow night at 6. And we will have special coverage Wednesday morning, of course. You can also find updates at KSLNewsRadio.com.
Rivalry week is finally here. BYU and Utah football are now gearing up for their first matchup in 3 years. KSL News Radio's Adam Small has more.
The rivalry game is coming back to Rice-Eccles Stadium for the first time since 2018. It'll have conference implications for the first time in more than a decade. BYU head coach Kalani Sitake spoke about the years they haven't had a rivalry game.
You miss it, so now that it's back, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Utah's looking to play spoiler to BYU's perfect record and end their own 4-game losing streak. Utes head coach Kyle Whittingham says they need to approach this like any other game.
We're in desperate need of a win. There's no doubt about that.
A BYU win would keep them in sole possession of the top spot of the Big 12. Kickoff is 8:15 Saturday night. Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
Meantime, the presidents of BYU and Utah are asking fans to keep the rivalry civil ahead of the big game.
President Taylor Randall and C. Shane Reese are pushing the Rival Right initiative, which is calling on Utes and Cougars fans to keep it competitive, but don't let it get toxic. They're hoping fans will take their competitive spirit and pour it into serving the community as well. Both schools are collaborating on a food drive at Smith's locations across Salt Lake and Utah counties.
Remember, what happens off the field matters just as much as the score.
In the end, that's what makes you a real fan.
Well, that and having Utah Man played at your funeral.
Or Rise and Shout.
Oh, come on.
Michael Commit, KSL News Radio.
The college basketball regular season gets underway today. The Utah Utes are at home playing Alcorn State tonight. Weber State will host Northwest Indian College. BYU hosts Central Arkansas tomorrow. Utah State opens their season on Wednesday, also against Alcorn State.
Northbound side of I-15 still slow, so let's get our first look traffic with Andy.
I-15 traffic is still running sluggish as you come out of Ogden from an earlier crash we had in Riverdale and Roy. So the delays aren't clear, although the crash is out of the way. North 15 still has some reduced speeds in Draper, Murray, and some southbound slowing down in Pleasant Grove. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
Let's get a look at KSL weather now with Matt Johnson. Today is dry and cold, but there's a weak storm arriving tomorrow.
Go rain, snow showers tomorrow, high of 45. We may pick up 1/10 of an inch of water from this system. It is not much. What it will do is reinforce the cold air for the rest of the work week with highs in the low to mid 40s. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, dry skies. Weekend has 50s in store.
Today's high will only be 47 degrees.
Nearly a dozen people were hurt in a series of tornadoes that touched down over the weekend in Oklahoma.
It was the middle of the night on Saturday when the first of 5 confirmed tornadoes struck on the edge of Oklahoma City.
This is clearly the most serious event we've had in some time.
Mayor David Holt says the damage was widespread, but all 11 people who were hospitalized are expected to be okay. Today,
this event is not necessarily over yet. Everybody needs to continue to be weather aware in the hours to come.
New tornado warnings have been posted around Oklahoma City. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Dozens of homes have been evacuated near Austin, Texas because of a wildfire. Will Sellers had to leave his house and is worried about the dogs and goats he left behind.
I was a little frustrated that they wouldn't let me through because it's less than a mile up the road from here.
The fire has burned over 400 acres.
A local Instagram page asked people to donate money to help the West Valley Animal Shelter buy more food, and people stepped up.
That some dogs were only getting fed once a day, which was pretty surprising to hear. And once she said that, I knew that we needed to kind of figure out how we could help.
Brandy Chenoweth runs the Dogs of Salt Lake City account, which features her own pooch, Scout. Her followers stepped up and in one day donated $10,000.
Southbound I-15 crashes have been cleared. That's good news. Both the one in Marriott-Slaterville and also in Riverdale. We'll check traffic and weather together coming up next.
Reliability, steadiness, trusted voices.
I'll listen to KSL in the morning. I use it to find my weather, to find my traffic. When you ask me what news is, I think of KSL first.
We have you covered at KSL News Radio.
In a world where ugly siding, leaky gutters, and inefficient windows are sapping homeowners of their will to live, one company must save us all. This year, join RGS Exteriors as it embarks on a mission to eliminate outdated home exteriors, one Utah home at a time. Every plank of old, ugly siding must be replaced. Every leaky gutter must be eradicated. Every inefficient, energy-sapping window must be vanquished once and for all. Begin your epic remodeling quest by calling RGS Exteriors for a free estimate. Discover how a heroic team of experts will save your siding, gutters, or windows for a fair, no-nonsense price. Call RGS Exteriors at 801-280-3110 or journey online to rgsexteriors.com. RGS Exteriors, coming soon to a home near you.
How do you know that Salt Lake County Mayor Jenny Wilson has protected our tax dollars? Because not only has every one of her budgets been balanced and passed with bipartisan support, but Jenny has made tough choices and maintained Salt Lake County's elite AAA bond rating with all 3 ratings agencies. Only 1% of American counties can say that. That saves you money. Mayor Wilson knows the cost of living in Utah is too high. Jenny is a common-sense public servant focused on one thing: fighting for Salt Lake County families.
I'm Salt Lake County Mayor Jenny Wilson. I made our rec centers free for kids because so many Salt Lake families are struggling to make ends meet. Between inflation, shrinkflation, and the housing market, cost of living in Utah is out of control. As your county mayor, I'm trying to make things a little easier for you and your family. As a mom, I also know our rec centers are a great way of getting kids off the couch and away from their screens. Let's keep working together to make Salt Lake County a better and more affordable place to live. Paid for by Wilson for Mayor.
Both the Harris campaign and the Trump campaign are making their final pitches, and of course it's in battleground states. Stay with KSL News Radio throughout the day today for More coverage from ABC News.
8:39 now. Traffic and weather together brought to you by Sinclair's Dino Pay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. And we go back over to you, Andy.
I-15 still running slow, point of the mountain to Bangor, and then again Midvale into South Salt Lake. It's not stop and go like with the crash, but just reduce speeds, adding to your drive time. Right now you're looking at from point of the mountain to downtown still in the 30 to 35-minute range. Bangor still got some delays crossing 5400 South in Taylorsville as well. Heather?
Just a few brake lights remain. Southbound I-15 between Ogden and Roy in the road construction zone area. Then you'll see a little bit more slowdowns from Beck Street into downtown. The earlier delays we had on Legacy Parkway in the West Side Belt appear to have cleared out. And a few of the city streets are a bit heavy, but no excessive delays and no accidents reported right now in Weber and Davis counties. Eric.
We got one crash in Utah County, southbound I-15 approaching Pleasant Grove Boulevard. And we are seeing some slowdown, some brake tapping going on because of that. I-15 does look good, though, in Utah County, northbound from Provo to Point of the Mountain. It's a 20-minute drive you're getting on at University Avenue. Tualatin County traffic, SR36, no problems heading up to northbound, up to I-80. Is your home ready for the holidays? Get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $119 and take 20% off upholstery cleaning by booking online anytime at zerores.com. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
Mostly sunny today with a high of 47 degrees. Overnight, 35 with increasing clouds. Tomorrow, shallow cold front, 45 the high, and a chance for some rain snow showers. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Warming up even still, 36 now in Salt Lake City.
It is election eve, and we'll have the latest poll numbers for you. Spoiler alert, they're neck and neck. More from Rick Klein coming up on KSL.
Stay with us streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio, Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Imagine the peace of mind knowing when you transfer your credit card balances to a Hercules First Federal Credit Union Visa, you get card NAV security as part of your package. Transfer the balance of your current credit card today and enjoy 3.99% interest for the first 6 months and 9.95% fixed APR. Receive 1 reward point for every dollar transferred. And then there's card NAV security, the total package for protecting your card against those who would like to steal your information and use it for themselves. Just download the app and you control your Visa card like never before. Visit HerculesCU.com. That's HerculesCU.com and learn more. Hercules First Federal Credit Union, growing stronger together. All accounts insured to $250,000 by NCUA. On approved credit, membership required, based on eligibility.
When it comes to vaping, the truth can get clouded. So let's make it clear. Vaping is not safe for kids, teens, or young adults. It's just not.
Because vaping can put microscopic particles into your lungs.
And dangerous things like metals and volatile organic compounds into your body.
And nicotine, the same highly addictive substance found in regular cigarettes.
Nicotine can harm a person's brain development through their mid-20s.
Affecting learning, memory, attention, and impulse control, and priming the brain for other addictions.
Vaping products also come in kid-friendly flavors that can make them appealing to youth.
And many kids also use other drugs, like marijuana, in vaping devices.
With appealing flavors, high nicotine levels, and lots of promotion on social media,
many kids think vaping is harmless, but it's not.
So talk to your kids about the risks of vaping, because when you talk, they hear you.
For more information, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Thanksgiving can be stressful when you're shopping on a budget. Let Family Dollar help you do more this year with amazing deals on the supplies you need for a great turkey day, from prep to cleanup. See how you could save on Thanksgiving staples like canned soups and veggies, or essentials such as disposable plates and utensils, trash bags, storage supplies, and more. For even greater savings, download the Family Dollar app, clip available offers, and redeem at checkout. Family Dollar, helping you do more.
Revere Health is committed to making your healthcare experience as easy as possible. We now offer an online scheduling option, allowing you to browse upcoming availability and conveniently book an appointment without calling in. Follow My Health, our online patient portal, allows you to message your doctor directly, view lab and test results within 24 hours, renew prescriptions, and much more. Visit reverehealth.com to learn more or schedule your next appointment. Revere Health, your partner in health, your partner for life.
And this portion of the news brought to you by Revere Health, your partner in health, your partner in life. KSL News Time, 8:45. The three things you need to know this hour. First,
Rivalry Week is back in the Beehive State. BYU and Utah football now gearing up for their first meeting in 3 years. I'm KSL News Radio's Adam Small.
Second, today is the last day to get mail-in ballots postmarked here in Utah.
Third, it's traffic and weather together.
A little bit of debris on North 15, slowing traffic from Linden to Pleasant Grove, right in the center lane. People don't want to drive over it, so they move around it. We also have a little bit of southbound slowing coming down towards that area, but that's been there for a little while on the southbound side. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
Cold weather for most of this week and a small little storm tomorrow. I'm Matt Johnson.
Right now, 36 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
ABC News asking the one question everybody wants answers to this morning.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. How soon will we know who won the election? 78 million Americans have already cast ballots, and it'll take some time to count all of them, plus additional ballots to be cast tomorrow. Kamala Harris will spend all of her time today in Pennsylvania. Donald Trump will be there, also in North Carolina and Michigan. Nearly a dozen people were hurt in a series of tornadoes that touched down around Oklahoma City over the weekend. Israel has terminated the agreement with the work of the UN Agency for Palestinian Refugees. UNRWA was the main aid provider in Gaza. This is ABC News.
All right, so what about those polls on this Election Day Eve? They are still neck and neck. They've been that way for months, and the latest results are no different.
ABC News Washington Bureau Chief Rick Klein breaks it down.
Our final poll before the election has a 3-point lead for Kamala Harris nationally, 49-46. That's what we showed when we published the poll yesterday. We actually stayed in the field an extra day just to see if there's any late change. Identical. The race has barely budged, as you said, for the entirety of the race. All of that said, there's been some intriguing movement late in the battleground states. The latest and last New York Times Siena polls shows kind of the reverse image of what you might expect. Harris right now very narrowly ahead in Nevada, as well as North Carolina and Georgia. Those are must-win states if you're Donald Trump, and that's a little bit of a surprise. Meanwhile, the opposite is true in some of the battleground states that Harris has to win. Right now, a tied race in Pennsylvania, a tied race in Michigan. That's problematic for the Harris campaign, and it tells you why both campaigns are nervous. They still have to defend what should be safe territory in a very close race. And our poll has Trump leading among men by 5 points, Harris up among women by 11. That's a 16-point gender gap, not far from what it is typically. But if you drill down a little bit more inside some subgroups, you see a bigger range. Among independents, that's a 22-point gender gap. Among voters under 30, among younger voters, that is a 45-point gap. That's a huge break for women under 30. That Harris lead is enormous. The fact that Trump has a tiny lead among men doesn't really weigh that out.
One other constant in this year's polls, Rick, the American people seem to be divided and super angry.
Yeah, boy, is that right. And you see it here. 74% of Americans say we are on the wrong track going into Election Day. That's an astounding number. It includes half of Harris supporters, 98% of Trump supporters. Wild numbers. And those are the kind of things that are just typically brutal for an incumbent party. But, of course, this is an unusual year in so many ways.
Yeah, and as we've been reporting, a huge number of people have already voted, Rick.
Yeah, some of these numbers, yeah, it's a big deal, Robin, because 78 million plus Americans have already voted, and it's going to take a while to count those votes. It's a record number of in-person early votes, but all those mail votes, those start to really pile up. Every state different. Georgia and North Carolina, for instance, we're expecting a relatively fast count. Some of the biggest Pennsylvania counties say they're going to handle things faster than last time, but very likely we're bleeding at least into Wednesday. Nevada and Arizona, meanwhile, they're probably not going to have final votes by the end of the week, and that is not a sign of anything being off. It's what state officials say to expect, especially if the margins in any of those places are really tight.
I enjoyed Boyd Matheson's column on KSLNewsRadio.com where he focuses on Wednesday. Mm-hmm. Not because we might know who's won by Wednesday, and we might, but we might not, but because that's the day when we get back to focusing on the things that truly matter in our lives, on our communities and our neighborhoods and our families, and what we can do to make this a better place to live.
Well, we're not bombarded by all of these messages that are coming at us like crazy. And if you think it's bad here, and we had texters this morning saying, please, no more commercials. If you think it's bad here, imagine what it's like if you were in some place like Nevada or Arizona.
Or Pennsylvania. Holy cow.
Today.
Yeah, my heart goes out to those people.
Yeah, for sure. Anyway, don't forget, we'll have extended special coverage tomorrow night starting at 6 o'clock here on KSL for you on Election Day. It's 8:49, time for a look at traffic and weather together, brought to you by Sinclair's Dino Pay app. Save up to 20 cents a gallon Back over to Andy Farnsworth.
And right now, travel through Salt Lake County still struggling at Point of the Mountain, and then again right around 3300 South. For those of you on the 201 freeway, still have a little bit of backup at Bangerter, but it only lasts for a couple of blocks. Mountain View still seeing some daybreak slowdowns in the construction just before Daybreak Parkway on the northbound side, before South Jordan Parkway, pardon me, Heather.
Looks like all the accidents have cleared in Weber and Davis counties, and still just a few brake lights showing up from time to time southbound 15 from Ogden to Roy, and again between Beck Street and downtown. That's all pretty normal in that area. You also have your typical congestion on US 89 at the I-84 interchange, as well as near Harrison Boulevard. Eric.
The area around Pleasant Grove Boulevard exit is the slowdown spot, the hot spot in Utah County. We had a crash southbound that's making things a little bit slower than usual going from Pioneer Crossing and American Fork down to the crash site. And then on the northbound side, we had some significant debris out in the road. Fortunately, everybody was able to get the debris off the roads, but it is a little bit slow getting back to normal there. We expect that to be resolved pretty shortly, though. I-15 otherwise looks good in Utah County. And if you're out in the mountains this morning, no problems on US 40 going between Heber City and Park City. Fall in love and find great savings during IFA's early bird sale. 3 unique sales over the next 4 weeks. Shop in store or online at IFA Co-op. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast. We've got a few days in a row here with highs 10 below the normal. Cold today, 47, mostly sunny. 45 tomorrow with a shallow cold front, bringing in a chance for some rain snow showers. Down to 43 for a high on Wednesday, mostly sunny. Full-on sunshine, 44 on Thursday. Friday and Saturday, mid-40s, low 50s. We go partly cloudy on Sunday, 54. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
And right now it's 36 degrees downtown, and the 7-day forecast brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful.
I mentioned that our extended special coverage of election night will start at 6 o'clock tomorrow night, but you know what that means? That means the BYU Central Arkansas basketball game will not be on our air.
Right.
So I want to remind everybody about that. If you want a total distraction from Election Day, you can listen to it because it's going to be exciting with a new coach and a new direction.
New season.
97.5 FM tomorrow night. That pregame will be at 6, the tip-off at 7 o'clock.
Look forward to a new season of basketball.
Yeah, on this rivalry week of football. Something else to think about. Coming up in a minute, we'll wrap things up with one last look at how the markets are doing this morning. KSL News Time, 8:52.
I am Rochelle Morris, and I'm running for Salt Lake County Council at large. As I've spent time getting to know you, from Magna to Mill Creek and from